How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Spooky Japan Podcast. Today, we have a very special guest with us, Anthony. He's joined us all the way from New York. How you doing today, Anthony?
Good, good. How you guys doing?
We're doing pretty good. It's
How
just
you doing? Yeah,
rainy time here in Japan.
Yeah.
rainy time. In Queens, we have a little chilly day, but and some sun.
Mm. Sun
So
is always good.
sun, yeah, sun is always good to have.
Yeah.
So
For our listeners out there who may not be familiar with who you are, go ahead and introduce yourself and where'd your journey into paranormal begin?
ooh, I started seeing things as about 3, 4 years old,
Mm.
and give away my age. That's back in the '60s, and you were allowed to talk about it. And all those years, I went on and this, you couldn't talk about it. And coming from an Italian family, they're like, shh, can't, we believe you, but don't say nothing to nobody outside the house, or don't talk to your dad or whatever. So when I hit about 13 years old, I I grew up in a place called Glendale, New York. That's in Queens, and we're surrounded by 9 cemeteries. And so back in the '70s, you couldn't hang out in the parks because there was a bad heroin epidemic going on. Everybody's shooting heroin, and they're throwing the needles all over the parks. So we used to go to the cemetery. So there was some field stuff we used to play in the cemetery, and so we got familiar with the cemeteries. That was our playgrounds, all the cemeteries in the area. So now it's about 13 years. Well, I was about 13 years old, and I me and a group of kids, my friends and stuff, we wanted to go to a store. The girls wanted to go to a store, and we're all about 13 years old. We're all trying to impress the girls and everything, and so we end up to the store. Going to this. It was nowadays they call it malls. Back then we just call it stores. I don't know, and department stores. So we went to this place, and the girls to do what they had to do. But to get there, we had to cut through a cemetery to go through a cemetery to get to where the store was. So it was getting late, and the girls had to get home. So we're coming back. The sun was coming down a little bit, and we're walking back, and we stopped before we left the cemetery. We're all goofing around and stuff. And I turned around and I seen a full body apparition. Somebody standing on the side there. It was a woman praying over a grave. Her hair was blowing, like red hair and a white gown, and she was just praying. And I didn't see no feet. But I didn't think about that. I just turned to my friends and said, "What's wrong with this woman? She's in the cemetery, by herself." And everybody turned and she wasn't there. So I got a little nervous and I left the cemetery. And of course, in the next night, I went back and I had another experience. And then after that, everybody thought I was crazy. I was seeing things. I remember that was in the '70s, so they go, "Oh, what drugs are you on?" That was the biggest thing back then.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up going by myself at the age of 13 back to these cemeteries at nighttime with dowsing rods, because this is back in like 70, 76, 75, 76, 77. And back with dowsing rods, 35 millimeter camera, and a compass, because my compass was my EMF back then. People don't know that a compass is like one of the best EMFs meters. So we went to I used to go back to the cemetery by myself at nighttime. And in Queens, the cemeteries close at 4 o'clock. And so I would have to climb over the fence with my stuff and do my investigation. So I started investigating at the age of 13 by myself, back in the '70s. So that's what got me started with actually looking for them. But I experienced them before that point, before that period of time. And then I just continued with that, on and off and stuff. So um, in 90, it was 95, I got my first computer. And then I went online and I found out people actually looking for ghosts with equipment and stuff like that. And There was teams and stuff. There was a team. Wow, teams of people looking for ghosts. That's cool. And so I started a team, Six Club of the Paranormals, back in '96, and I had three members: me, myself, and I. Nobody else believed me. Nobody else wanted to come with me. So I started doing that. Um, and then time came along, and then like in 2004, that's when they started getting popular. I used to go on my own, the cemeteries, all this stuff. And 2004 is when it started getting popular, and you could start talking about it more. And Paracon started and everything. And then I got more people who started joining me then because it became a cool thing. And my team's been around since. So I have my team since '96 still around. The
Added
thing,
more people than me, myself, and I.
yeah, yeah. Um, because right now we, I got my team, and we merge with other teams now, and we do a lot of New Jersey, and you know, Jersey, Pennsylvania. I did the Conjuring House, original Conjuring House. We did that a couple times. Um, that's in Rhode Island. So I did a bunch of different things. So it was, um, so you merge with other teams and everything, and we're having a great time doing it. So I got more people on my team, but then I join other teams, and we all go, and we got about 4 or 5 teams, and we get together and we do a bunch of different locations, and they invite us on theirs, and it goes back and forth. So it's a pretty good situation right now. I'm enjoying it. Get to see my ghost.
It sounds definitely. You can tell you enjoy it though. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm glad you found a good group of people because I feel like nowadays the paranormal community just became toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh
Like
yeah.
we can't do anything. You can't even investigate one location without people getting jealous,
Hmm.
which makes absolutely no sense. And
Hmm.
I don't even know where this negativity or this competition really came from.
It, it, yeah. It started. It got really bad after 2020. It got really bad after that. I guess people sat home and I don't know, to start thinking about going. Let's do the paranormal. But we notice it's like there's like two kinds of groups now down in paranormal, like split off. There's the groups like what we are that go in. We're not about the money. We're about the investigation and
Yeah,
to
that's
get the
that's
research
why
and stuff like
social
that.
media.
And then there's the other one that's in it for the money. Everything
Mhm.
is money, 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 and they'll show anything as evidence to believe. Oh, look what I got because I think it's going to get another dollar. You know what I mean? And everybody thinks they're going to be on a TV show. I've been on two
Yeah,
shows already, and I mean, I'm still doing what I am. It's show's a show. You're on the show, and then next day you're not on the show. It's like they do an interview with you and everything, and so it's
yeah.
interesting.
I do kind of blame social media for a lot of negativity because of that, everyone is in competition with each other and who can get the most
Mhm.
likes, who can get the most views.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, when the younger generation is mostly seeing that, I feel like it's the older generation who believes in it more than the younger. And
Hmm.
as
Mhm.
someone said, and this is a good point, all they see on social media is the clearly fake stuff. So why should they believe in it? And I'm like,
Hmm.
you raise a good point. And I know over here, being here in Japan, clearly I'm seeing what they're getting social media wise, and that unfortunately is what they're mostly getting over here in Japan is the clearly fake stuff where oh the door slams, but you see the string.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that stuff.
Yeah, and I'm
You
like, okay, I see their point, especially when this is all they're seeing, and they're like, yes,
know.
but this is if this is what the paranormal is, and it's clearly fake,
Hmm.
or this is CGI, or
Mhm.
whatever, why should I believe in it? I'm like, it's hard to defend that when that's what they're
Hmm.
mostly seeing, especially over
Hmm.
here.
And it's
I
really
feel
hard
like,
now with AI.
yeah, that's it's getting worse because a lot of
Yeah.
people are like, yeah, everything you if you're not seeing this people with the strings, the moving stuff, or
Hmm.
You hear a voice, but it's clearly a speaker in the other room,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and then the other stuff you see is everyone making stuff off of, AI and posting it. They're like, "Oh, look what I caught," and it's clearly an AI thing.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. We do investigations, like you said. People do it for, we do investigations. Like last weekend, we did. We worked at there was an Elks Club that did like a paranormal thing, and what do you call it? Check me out on Facebook. um, it was Elks Lodge. It was an old Elks Lodge. They've been around for like hundreds of years. So they ended up that they had like a little their first Paracon type of thing there. So afterwards, they had like a VIP. They had us take people around to do like a VIP investigation. So that's what we did, and we don't get no money for that. We don't get
Mhm.
no money for that, and the money that they make goes back into their lodge. Plus, it's about handicapped children they take care of.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I don't know. I never made any money off this. Look, if I did, I wouldn't have this crap in back of me. I would have glass walls and everything, you know.
Mhm.
And Anthony Joseph. Hey, my middle name is Joseph too. Uh,
He's from Ireland, so
is he?
Yeah.
Hey. Um, so it's like we do a lot of tours, and we do, like I said, we merge our teams together, and
Mhm.
we do like we go into like these old haunted locations, and like these old buildings, they're all falling apart, and there's some kind of historic society trying to run them. So we go in there and we do tours and stuff like that. We give investigations in there. Whatever money they make goes back into their thing. So we're not in it for the money, you know. So I mean, it costs me more to drive to places with tolls and gas,
Mhm.
Mhm.
you know, and I just enjoy it. That's what I do. We have a good time doing it. You know.
I
So.
will say that's definitely there is a difference in people because I always say on this show when I started investigating it was a unspoken rule in a paranormal you never charge for your services,
Mhm.
and then we're finding out from people that people are charging for their services. It could be a couple $100 to someone told me it's like 1,000. Someone told me they charged like $1,000. Someone else told me it was over $1,000, and it's ridiculous. But everyone is. But then someone else said, "Well, sometimes I do, gas money depending how far it is." I'm like, there is a difference in, travel expenses, especially if it's far away, like you said, tolls, compared to I'm going to charge this person $1,000 just to make a profit.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, there is obviously a difference in that, and I will
Mhm.
say, I mean, travel expenses, that's fine, that's your prerogative, especially if it's far away, or
Mhm.
you have a bunch of tolls. I know in New York, there's definitely a bunch of tolls that they're not cheap. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, locations. When we go to like a location, say, because we don't just do paracons, we actually rent out locations, and these locations are a lot of money.
Mhm.
yeah,
You know? And wow, and you need a group of people to go to these things to
Mhm.
actually. I mean, some locations are like $2,400 for a night. You know, I don't have that kind of money to waste, so you got to get at least 10 to 15 people so you could just cover a cost that everybody could go in. But then you got to make sure the location is big enough. Like we went to Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in West Virginia,
Mhm.
and
yeah,
that place,
I heard this, Anthony, where it was originally $500. Even on a weekend night, it was $500, and now they're saying
that
what is
place,
it, 1,500
15 to
now?
2,000, yeah.
Yeah, 15, 2,000 because of them, and they said like on a weekday, on a slow weekday, it's going to be 8, 900, be like 850, $900, and that's
Mhm.
literally like on a Monday or Tuesday is what people are showing.
Yeah,
I'm like that. That was probably, yeah. Well, this is also probably during the week. I know weekend. Someone said they went there before the Sam and Colby, and on a weekend, like a Saturday night, they spent like $500. Now
Hmm.
they're going back. Like this Anthony said, it's either like 1,500 or $2,000, and other people are showing they're looking for a Monday night, and it's like 850 now. So
I mean, I understand they got overhead and everything too, but I mean, when you go to these locations, it's not like they clean it up for you and I have all the security there. There's
no,
one person that opens up for you, and then you do what you got to do within the location.
Mm-hmm.
You actually, and you bring your own equipment.
Mm-hmm.
You bring, your own everything, and they're charging the phenomenal prices. They're charging some. I mean, when I first got into the actually going to locations and everything like that, some of these locations, like you could just go to for free.
Yeah.
And as soon as the paranormal got, even the equipment, as soon as the paranormal got popular, like in 2004, in the 2000s, everything started doubling. Even the equipment. You know where I started buying my equipment? Home Depot.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the equipment was bought back then.
yeah.
EMF meter. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
retired electrician,
Mm-hmm.
so I know all about those EMF meters and everything like that. But it's I used to buy, and as soon as the paranormal come and they took the same item, put in a fancy box, and doubled the price.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Someone was also
this house in
telling us
Kentucky,
that
$600. $600 is not bad for us, really. I mean,
especially compared to some locations. No,
mhm.
$600 is not bad.
We
But
get
there
10
are,
people, you cover the 600, and that's not bad. You know,
But
but it's depending how far it is, also.
uh, Kentucky, so Kentucky
Kentucky for
for
me is going to
sure.
cost a fortune
Yeah.
to
yeah.
drive there. I'm not taking no planes because the way these planes over here, it takes you. There's so many delays. You may never get there in time. So
I
yeah,
understand that they have to have the upkeep of the place. They have to keep the electricity on. I understand that, but I mean, $600 to keep your electricity on. Excuse me. It's kind of expensive. That's kind of like, nah,
yeah.
you know.
Some locations, they have the electricity on. Some locations we go in don't even have electricity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know,
and
uh,
they charge you an arm and a leg just to go there and just to investigate.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I go to a place, the Hinsdale House in Hinsdale, New York. It's in by
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo. It's
Mm-hmm.
like a 7 hour trip for us. But he's like charging like $300 for the night.
That's not
And
bad.
then but you go there, you do what you got to do, and then you lock up the next day, and you can stay as long as you want, pretty much, unless it's somebody else is coming.
Mm.
You got you $300, not much. You get like
No.
you get six, you get four people, six people, about $50 per person. So it's
Yeah.
not bad. You know, the drive and the gas is what gets us. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
but and something. As much as I'm complaining about that right now, I get to those locations and I have such a great time.
Mm.
It makes it well worth it.
Mm.
You know, especially when you get it, especially if you get stuff. If you
Mm.
get some kind of EMF or EVP, something's
Mm-hmm.
talking, or because I'm big with video cameras. I like my night vision cameras and stuff like that. So if I get something moving on that camera, it's like a
Mm-hmm.
golden. I jump up and down like, hey, guys, something. It's. But you investigate and you do your own you know, reviews on your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're going hours without hearing it. Then you hear that one thing. Of course, you're like, yeah, you know. So
For me, for some odd reason, there was locations where the most activity I'd be getting would be setup before I fully turn anything on to capture it,
Mm-hmm.
uh-huh.
or what I'm calling it a night, and I just turn everything off. Like, oh,
Yep,
now
yep,
you want to be active. Okay.
that's right. What we do now, before we go into a location, I wear a body cam.
Mm.
I have a
That's
body
a good
cam.
idea.
I put a body cam on, and then I go in, set up, And when I break down, I leave the body cam on, and
Mm.
and this is how I am. I got a body cam on the front, and I got a body cam on my back.
Mm.
You
But
know,
that's not
because
crazy because you never know what's happening behind you because it's
how many times
weird.
you're on investigation, you're walking down a dark hallway, and something's crashing behind you. Now you turn with your camera or whatever you want, and you don't see it. If that's behind you, you're seeing what's going down.
Mm-hmm.
How many investigations do you do in a year? How many I do? So far this year, I've been doing at least average, well, up to, well, in August, I had a little less time, but I was doing like two a month, two, three a month, different locations. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, how many? So do the math. Like, three, so two a month. So yeah, I've been doing a lot. I don't know. This month I got another four to do. And some months are slower than other months. So I could do hundreds in a year.
Do you find the seasons make a difference of when you do an investigation when you don't?
The only thing with the seasons is if it's too cold, I won't go. No, I still go anyway. Are you kidding? No, it doesn't really. It's depending where you are, locations.
Mm-hmm.
Some locations, it's depending on the activity. I find some places have certain activity at certain times of season more than another place that has it. And that could be because whatever happened in that location that caused the activity was around that time of season, you
Mm.
know? So it's just doing itself over and over. But what I find the difference is times.
Mm.
And like I said, I brought up the Hinsdale House. Every time I go to Hinsdale House, stuff about it starts about 4, 5, 6 o'clock. You get most of the activity,
Mm.
and the Shanley Hotel, upstate New York, they start like 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So I mean, it's depending. I'm not, and I can't explain why that is. But
Mm-hmm.
that's from going to these places ongoing. I notice when more activity is at certain times.
Mm.
You know, but but I'm thinking about like if a certain time of year there's more activity another time. You know,
Have you ever been to Sleepy Hollow over there somewhere? I don't know where is it.
yeah, Sleepy
It's
Hollow. Yeah, I
yeah.
did the Paracon there like last year. Yeah, I did the cemetery there. Um, but there was also abandoned buildings near there, which I went to. Um, well, I had permission to go into it. I had the people who take me through it, and I got some stuff in there. Well, yeah, Sleepy Hollow. There's a place by Sleepy Hollow is the 1970. That's not the 76 house. I think believe it's called, and that has a lot of history. Matter of fact, it's converted into a restaurant now, but it was like a gathering place one time, and there's a second floor on it. And Hamilton lived there for a couple of years, and that place they all got together to write the what do you call it, the Bill of Rights in that building.
Mm.
That's how they started. Like they started in a pub drinking, and they go, "Hey, I think this is good. This is a
Mm.
baker." So yeah, there's a lot of history, and Sleepy Hollow is. Matter of fact, I'm going back in time. There was a show back in the '60s called Dark Shadows.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever. And the buildings of Dark they show there the manor is in Sleepy Hollow,
That's crazy.
and
Yeah, I've been there before, and I want to go back to the. I think there's a cemetery there where a ghost of a soldier rides by, and that's what inspired the Sleepy Hollow story.
Matter of fact, you go to Sleepy Hollow, you go over the bridge where it's written in the book where the jack o' lantern is thrown at Ichabod Crane and stuff. All that area, it's all part of it. But that cemetery does have a lot of activity. There's also one the stones there. It's a woman, and
Mm.
they have that the woman it was crying, the tears coming down its face. So yeah, it has some activity.
That's where I've heard of her, but I didn't know where it's located.
It's in that cemetery. I couldn't tell you exactly where, you know, but because I only been there like once or twice. So
I was gonna ask, have you seen it?
no, I haven't seen it. I just heard about it. I wish I did. That'd be. You kidding me? That'd be like the holy grail for me. I'd be videotaping that. You know, that'd be the.
Yeah, Irene, if you haven't heard of this, it's supposed to be it's a woman, but I don't know if it's a woman or an angel, but it's a statue in the cemetery, and for some odd reason, and it won't be rainy out. It'll be like clear skies, and then you just see from her eyes looks like tears coming down where normal tears would be coming down.
Mhm. It's wild. That'd be wild just to see.
Mm.
Hey, Robert. It's-
I've been there before to Sleepy Hollow, and there I remember we were near that bridge of where it was supposed to happen, and there was no one around at the time. But we heard like the whistling. We heard like some whistling.
hmm, that's cool. Did you
Yeah,
record it?
I didn't get the record or anything because we were just like I was
You
there
got a
younger.
cell phone? You got to record on your cell phone. That's what I do.
Well, I was there more as a I was like more of a kid then visiting.
Oh,
So
okay.
when you hear it, I was like, what especially when you hear something real quick and you just kind of start hearing the whistling.
If you ever come to like New York area and stuff like that, or New Jersey or something, let me know if we have anything going on. I'll let you know. You can join along with us.
Definitely will, because that'd be awesome to do, and I would love to go back to New York sometime.
Hmm.
Mm.
You know, but I mean, with the investigations and stuff like that, I've been to. I can't. I would say thousands. I've been doing investigating since I was 13 years old. So that's 48 years I've been doing this.
Mhm.
So I've been doing this, like I said, was when it wasn't popular, running around
Mm.
Yeah,
cemetery and stuff.
I think
Quote.
it's also a lot of people start their paranormal journey is kind of investigating
Mhm.
cemeteries.
Well, that's when I first started cemeteries. You know what I mean? And I hear people always telling me, there's nothing in cemeteries, just bodies. No, I had too many experiences in cemeteries when I was a kid and through the years. So,
Yeah, there are some. I mean, there is some where there's not really anything, but there are at least a few cemeteries out there where you'll catch something. And there's nothing wrong with exploring cemeteries, especially trying to get used to equipment for the first time, trying to
mhm.
get the experience of working it compared to trying to figure out on an investigation.
It's cemeteries. Like you said, yeah, I have no problems with cemeteries, and as long as you go to a cemetery and you be respectful,
Mhm.
Yeah,
don't step on everybody's grave and all this
yeah,
stuff, and then
Mhm.
show some respect,
Yeah.
because there's so many different. I mean, I've been to what do you call it? The cemeteries that are like abandoned out in the woods from you know that they just found. Like this is one cemetery by Letchworth. It's Letchworth Cemetery, but Letchworth Sanitarium. It used to be a location where everybody, it was an asylum at one time. So there was a lot of people that were dropped off there, and back then people never admitted to that they had children or family members that were disabled because
Mhm.
they felt that it made their family look like low class or whatever.
Mhm. Yeah.
So they used to let these people just die there. So they had a cemetery out in the woods, and it was abandoned for years. I think in the '90s, it was the '90s or late '80s. Somebody was walking. They found these big crosses, and they were made out of steel. And they started cleaning it up, and they found out it was the cemetery from people from that asylum that was just left there. And they did some research on it and stuff, and they found some of the graves, and they have markers with people's names on it now. But each one of those stones, it's not even a stone; they're metal.
Mhm.
I did investigation there too, and that was interesting because the they're actual metal crosses with numbers on them, and there's rows of them. You just look, and there's so many. And So I was walking in with my EMF meter, and it was going off. I'm like, this is crazy. This is crazy. I went up to the thing. The cross was magnetic
Mm.
from all the wind and the dust, everything coming through. Must have made that thing magnetize because it was like, this is crazy. And I was like, I'm getting a reading off this cross. So I took a piece of metal out and I put it on there, and it stuck to it. So I mean, sometimes you get false positives with the
Mhm.
equipment we're using, and that's what I do. I try to, before I say anything is it, I try to,
Yeah.
try to prove it's not. You
I'm
Mm.
know,
glad you I'm glad you bring that up because I notice a lot of teens, especially the younger ones, the second that their equipment goes off, oh, it's paranormal. But as you said, it could be a false positive,
hmm
we're like, no, well, this probably set it off. Don't assume.
Mm.
Spirit
yeah,
set it off.
Or
yeah,
the thing, oh, it's beeping, oh, it's telling me, oh, thank you. Like, really? I'm looking at it. Okay, you know.
and then I got the cell phone next to them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
people forget that.
or they got walk. That I think there's some of these things too, because walkie talkie set off the the EF meters. Um, they set them off all the time, and the RAM pods and everything. All you gotta do is take a walkie talkie and chuck it. Just hit it, and then
Mm,
they will go off.
yeah.
And you know, a lot of people see that and they go, "Oh, look, there's something coming. There's something touching it. There's something close."
Or
Oh,
they're answering to me, or they say, "Okay, thank you." I go,
yeah,
There's
"Okay,
there's also, I mean, that's also part of the people faking the evidence where they're saying
yeah,
it's going off, and it's like, oh, I don't have a cell phone on me, but you clearly see the outline of the cell phone in their pocket. And everyone's like,
mhm,
okay, yeah, what's that right there? That's a cell
yeah,
phone.
yeah.
yeah,
It's lit up unless your legs lighting up there. Your phone. You got a phone there.
Yeah.
yeah."
Yeah.
It's
So,
kind of that's why I like the old 35 millimeter camera because when you take a picture, I used to be able to print negative. I used to be able to print pictures. That was my old job, and there was some really good evidence where you could see a really good face in there,
hmm
and it's not like the digital camera. And it it was just right on the negative, and you could see it, you could feel it, and you could with your own two eyes. You don't have to do it. You don't have to strain to find it.
yeah,
It's there,
yeah,
and that's why I like that the most because it's on the negative. You can't miss it. You can't fake it. You can't put a double. You can't
yeah,
override it.
yeah,
It's and you could really feel it. You could really see it, and you could really see the face of the orb, and it was real. There's no bugs there, and it's no, like now, yeah,
yeah. When it was
old
digital, that's
technologies.
where the AI comes in and all this
Mhm.
stuff that they can, fake it more than back then. Back then, they had ways of faking it also. It's like that's how I started my 35 millimeter. But
Mhm.
Double
the only bad thing about
exposure
the
is one of
35
them.
millimeters, when you take a picture of it, it goes poof, and takes it lights up the whole place. Now, if you're in a dark area, everybody's blind.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
boom, you know. But yeah, well, I went to all digital now too because I did have my first video night vision cameras. I actually bought it was somebody in England that I bought it off of, and
Hmm.
it's night vision. It was like my first night vision camera
Hmm.
video, and it worked great, and it still works great. But those cartridges are like so much money now.
Hmm.
The
Yeah.
flashy lights, Anthony, are good for people, the social media people, basically, to look flashy,
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah.
fancy. That's all it is.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just funny because even with that flash, they like, hey, look, all those orbs. Nah,
Nah.
if you're outside, it could be a million things. It could be pollen. It could be
Yeah.
raindrops. It could be
Yeah.
almost anything.
Yeah.
Look, an army. There's an army of orbs coming at us. I had somebody tell me that in Gettysburg one time, and they're taking pictures. Look at all these. There's a whole army out there. No, you're taking over a wheat field. What do you think? It's not and now I don't disbelieve in orbs altogether because there are good evidence of orbs.
Mhm,
It's like you got an orb and it's like around the edges because it is a circle. Around the edges, it's like illuminating, and then instead of centered a little less, and so it's
mhm,
usually grayish, white around the end, grayish it is. And the only way I would say orbs are good like that if somebody's seen something in that spot.
mhm,
Because I had an orb like that, like in Gettysburg again. I was on one of those, ghost tours and stuff like that, and they're telling me this is this, and that, and behind me there was a building and there's a fence, and behind me I seen a nun moving
mhm,
back and forth. I'm like, so I didn't turn. I just picked up my camera and I took a couple of shots,
mhm,
and where I seen the nun, I actually got the what do you call? I got the orb.
mm,
So that's why I believe in orbs with that. What
mhm,
is the thoughts on SLS cameras are great. I got mine sitting over here. I really believe it, but there's a lot of false positives with that
I was
also.
gonna say, I was like, I don't know because there's been a lot of false positives, but I also
Right.
think it depends. It depends on which one you get, Anthony. Basically, is
It's
some people.
depending who's using it. I mean, you get the false positives. You got your SLS camera. You go into a room, and the wall might be shiny.
mhm,
Now, what you're getting, that stick figure getting, is you
mhm,
reflecting off that wall,
mhm,
your shadow, your reflection off that wall. It,
mhm,
it's you got a lot of false positives, but I've
mhm,
seen it. I've been to White Hill Mansion, and that's why I first got mine. I got mine back years ago, and it's because of I seen orbs. I not see I seen somebody um, inside. There was an ice box there, and down the
mhm,
basement. And it's known to be a mafia run place and stuff. So Um, oh, Jenny, that's my partner. She's always with me. And she's matter of fact, she's on my podcast. So, um, you, I seen something inside this ice box down the
mhm,
basement, and ended up that somebody had the SLS there before I had mine, and I swung it into that corner, and there was a stick figure where I seen something. So
mhm,
I thought it was like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. Let me go get one, and
mhm,
that's what I did. You know.
mhm,
Still frequently being used still. And the also thing another about the SLS why that's why I started slowing down on them. It's the battery on
mhm.
on the on the screen on the tablet. It doesn't last long.
Mhm.
Now it
Es-
goes off and it's like okay, and they only last like a half hour.
like especially get a really strong spirit that drains your batteries. You could have a full pack of batteries, and you go there and it's all like zero. Like okay, I just charged the darn thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. Then you have to try. Well, we did. One of the guys on my team, Giuseppe, he has SLS and I have SLS, and we have the same tablet. So what we do is we charge his tablet, we use mine. When mine dies, I use his, and it works like that. But
Mm-hmm.
there's so much equipment nowadays to carry, so that's not one of my go to thing. Like I said, I'd rather use my body cam
Mm-hmm.
and my night vision camera. You know, with spiritual dimensions, figures are total different being connected to uh totally uh,
Yes and no. Yes
yeah
and no to that one.
um I guess it could be
Mm-hmm.
connected by what's it yeah I mean I know people that well no I don't know yeah people that have stuff that goes on in their apartment. I've been to their apartment
Mm-hmm.
to hauntings and stuff like that. I think they actually manifest their own stuff.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Especially if you have conflict in your house. it creates whatever that can come
Mhm.
out. And if you're not in peace with everybody in your home, and if you keep on fighting, of course it creates something. Of
Mhm.
Oh
course
yeah.
you can, yeah, of course you can create stuff in your house. It's
People
because you're
people forget how much
yeah,
energy conflict and fighting
yeah.
Mhm.
creates. That's why they feed off. This is why when you go. This is why when you investigate and you go into a lot of places, they heighten that in you because they're
Yeah.
feeding off of that. And it's happened to me where I'd go on investigation and they'll bring up something just to be able to get that anger out of me is they heighten something like it could be a stupid kid mistake that everyone agreed, oh, it's just a stupid little mistake that you made as a kid, especially because
Mm,
you didn't think like an adult, you think like a kid. So of course you, but for some odd reason, it's brought. You think of it, it comes in your mind, and it's just more
mm,
heightened, and you're more angry about it.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's why you always have to go in a place with an empty head, and just close your eyes and think of nothing, and then you go in a place and then you can see and feel everything. You don't necessarily should bring your own baggage when you go in a place, when you investigate. It's really not healthy to do that.
Hmm. Yeah, what we tried not to when people are upset, um, not try not to let people on that are upset come on investigation if they're upset
Yeah.
about certain things because negativity
They're going to
brings
get
negative. They can be attacked or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Yeah, whatever bad energy is going to go back to them or
Yeah.
just attached to them.
Yeah.
So you don't. You try not to. I mean, I know how many times I went on investigation. I was mad about something, but I get happy when I get investigations. So it's like I'm here. No, okay, everything's drained and I'm here. But I've been attacked. I've been burned. I've been bit. I've been scratched. So black and blues and stuff on me on investigations. So, but the whole thing with that is I welcome it so I can get
Mm-hmm.
the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the investigation, I staged down and you know put all the stage on me and say my prayers and but before that's how I get my evidence. Sometimes it hurts too.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, Jenny in the audience, we just did Gettysburg Battlefield Bash
Mm-hmm.
in July, and she rented it was a hotel, and it's like two hotels in one. So I have my section of the hotel, and then it was like a walkway to where her section was. And her section of the hotel was another part of the hotel, Eisenhower Hotel, and she had a room there.
Mm-hmm.
So at that night we get there, we're sitting around the table. We had John Zaffis there. We had um, what's his name? Oh, oh my! I just went blank. Oh my goodness! I'm getting old. Senior moment. I'm allowed for at least one a day. Um, Steve Barry from they were doing the better. They did. Steve Barry actually is one of the the co-founders of the Battlefield Bash, and we had a couple other people there. And this guy Eric and Jenny had the beers in her room. So we're before the night before. So Jenny went to go get something out of her room, and so he's asking Jenny, "What room are you in?" And she tells him, she goes, "That's the most haunted room of the night. That's the most haunted room in this hotel." And she's like, "Really?" That night she had a bad dream of
Mm-hmm.
something trying to pull her out of the bed, and she felt like she hit the floor, she was going to die and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So she had this really bad dream. Next day, we all went to breakfast. It was her and my friend Ronald Ordis and stuff. And so I had the band to give to her to put on for the Battlefield Badge. She had bruises on her arm. It looked
Oh
like
dear.
it looked like something actually grabbed her. I'm like, "What's that?" And she's like, "Oh, I don't know." And she just, "Oh, I probably hit myself or something." But she had bruises on her arm.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So Yeah, that was crazy. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've all had the random bruises from
You
investigating, where after investigation, the next day, all of a sudden you
know?
have a really nasty bruise, and you're thinking, when did I, when did that happen?
Yeah. Yeah. So that night they went back. I had to go home. I had an emergency at home, so I left that day. And they went back to the room, a group of them, and they did an investigation in that room. And they got EVPs and stuff. And they went back with a couple psychics and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They found out they through what they with the EVPs and it's the guy that was there um, was a bad guy and he used to beat women.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So of course Jenny got lucky and she got the most haunted room.
How you are in life is how you are in death. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know.
do you think spirits are attracted to certain words? I don't think certain words, but they see your energy and your emotions before you even walk in.
Yeah.
Well, if you challenge them,
Oh, well, definitely. I mean, that's different from
you
challenging
know, what I
them.
mean,
Yeah.
if
Challenge
there's
them,
certain words, if you
provoke
call them
them.
cowards and stuff like that, or go do it to me and stuff.
Oh yeah, that is a good point. I mean, if you provoke
Yeah.
them, there is.
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's
So I
I
think the
hate it when
provoking.
people provoke spirits. Like
That's so
there's
wrong.
no point in provoking spirits.
No.
They think they're going to get a better reaction
Yeah.
from spirits. It's
It's
not.
not always true because you might have gotten a response before, but now they're just like they're not going to be cooperative with you. They're just
Hmm.
going to be.
No.
You know.
You can't fight something that you can't see. Basically, you can't see
Yeah.
it. Don't. You can't fight it.
Hmm. Well, I used to always, and only just last year I started. I used to draw everything I seen. I draw
Mm-hmm.
pictures of what I seen on location and stuff. And only last year I started. So um, I've been doing the Paracons now and spirit art. So I've been doing
Mm-hmm.
showing all my art and stuff like that. People show me pictures and I draw. You know, I can look at a picture and see if there's any spirits or anything, and I draw. Matter of fact, last night we had a guy on the podcast. Here's one of the pictures I drew last night. I don't have the others ones, but
Mm.
I seen it. This was like a covered bridge behind it, you know,
Mm.
and I seen a man with a dog, and
Mm.
so I see when I see spirits now, I actually draw what I see.
Mm-hmm.
So I go into the spirit art of it. I call myself a para artist, you know,
Mm.
because it's interesting because you know sometimes you don't get everything on film. You don't get things, you know. So
Yeah.
I if I could get to draw something, I will. Yeah, and I have been doing it lately. You know,
Mm.
so yeah, so it's been that's been cool too. Uh, okay, but you know that's doing. Yeah, we do a lot of investigation. Like Jenny's like my partner with everything. She comes. Her husband doesn't investigate. My wife don't investigate. So when we go together, we all one of the teams. We all get together. She's like her and I are partners on everything. You know, so you know it's uh, it's fun. It's fun. We've been having so much fun. Like I said, she's part of the group that we go out and para partner. See, we go out and we just, like I said, we should go out and we have a good time. We try to, you know, get evidence and do all that stuff. You think how try to
I never thought about that. If there is a certain
some,
word, we always say this: "How you are in life is how you are in death." If there's
mhm,
a certain word that irritated you in life, I wonder if it would cause a reaction in your death.
that's true. I mean, you can't. We can't say no to everything because we don't know. Like I
No.
always said, the only way we're going to get all the answers is when we're on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any of us are rushing to get there to get those
No.
Yeah.
answers.
No.
Even then, there's certain things that you can't. A lot of people will be like, "Oh yeah, don't worry, I'll come back and haunt you and I'll tell you." But I think even then, I don't know how it is, but we feel like there's certain things that they can't even tell us about the other side. So
Yeah.
Yeah. When I ask spirit certain questions, they'll tell me certain things and they'll say, we can't talk about this or we can't talk about that. So, yeah, I end up with a blank. And I go, okay, yeah, you can't talk about this. I tell my client, sorry, I can't tell you that. And they go, why can't you tell me that? I said, well, that's
Mhm.
private information, right? I can't tell you that. Sorry.
If we tell you, we got to kill you. Then you'll find out.
Then you find out the hard way, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I believe that we can. You could be I could give all kinds of answers and stuff. Everything we have is theory. We don't have nothing that's proven evidence on any of the stuff we do.
Mhm.
And maybe one day we'll have better evidence.
Mhm.
I know people working on stuff. My friend Ron Lourdes, Ron Yacovetti and Lourdes Gonzalez, and the Rathmans in Vegas. They're doing this thing called Staticom,
Mhm.
and that is the closest I come to getting answers. It's Staticom.
Mhm.
What they do is take white noise, just the
Mhm.
white noise,
Mhm.
and they got white noise generator, and they feed it to a computer. It's no
Mhm.
sound. There's no words. There's no nothing. And they ask
Mhm.
questions, and they're getting words back. So they feel
Mhm.
the spirits of manipulating is that's part of the static is giving you answers. I mean, I have my mother come through on it. I have my dog. They we asking questions. So I asked the question, Mom, if Cookie's with you, Cookie was my dog. Cookie's with you, have a bark. And the thing hit right after goes, whoo, it barked like a real dog bark. And it was like, what? What happened just now? That was so cool.
The
Satisfying.
funny thing that you said that, right? Because your mother just came in and she was just talking to me in my ear about you.
Oh
Like,
no, don't listen to her.
well, no, well, you know what? You know what? She was talking up a storm.
That's
And
my mom.
yeah, and it was kind of funny because she said, "Oh, that's my son." I said, "Uh-huh." And I was trying to listen to you and I was trying to listen to this podcast, right? So I have other things going on with me when I'm doing this and like I'm a beacon, right? I
Hmm.
hear everything, I see everything, right? And when that happens, when the guest comes on, they hear a dead relative come, and they said, "Oh, that's too so and so, and that's so and so." I said, "Uh huh." So I'm looking like I'm not listening, and my head's in a different area, my eyes looking the other different area because I'm seeing something, right? And yeah, that's when I got your mom.
Yeah,
this Anthony is going after Steve's in his next life.
yeah.
And
Uh, I got a
be
list.
haunting a place, an investigator named Steve's gonna come, and they're gonna wonder why is this one targeting me?
Like, gee whiz.
Yeah, I got a list. I got a list. I'm gonna come back and haunt people. Definitely move their keys around just to drive them nuts.
Yeah, I got my own bucket list too.
Yeah, it's like it's just to drive them nuts. Move
Yeah,
something here and there.
just to get them going. Like playing the computer, right? Boo.
I had my keys one time. I found them in my freezer. I
Oh
couldn't find my
wow.
keys. So somebody was playing games with me. And I lived by
Mhm.
myself.
Mhm.
I know I put them on the table and I found them in the freezer. I'm like, okay, guys, gotta stop this.
Yeah. Yep. I get that too. You know,
Yeah.
especially when I'm in the kitchen, I'm cooking dinner. I said, "All right, put my spice back, okay, please." Like I need it now. Like, don't do this to me.
Yeah. Stuff disappear on you.
Yeah, and they mess with you, and all of a sudden you ha 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 ha. And I said, "Yeah, that wasn't funny."
Sometimes in investigations, and I never thought about this, but you could be somewhere that's haunted, or people go to do investigations, and it might not be dead spirits that you're communicating with. Like I know here in Japan, I
Mhm.
forgot what it's called. It starts with an I, but there's actually a theory here in Japan where you can you can see a ghost or deal with a ghost of a living person. So basically, how they think it's created is, let's say I have a huge grudge against you. It could
Mhm.
be so strong that it
Mhm.
manifests into what they call a ghost and come
Mhm.
after you.
Yeah.
So now you're dealing
Yeah.
with a vengeful spirit, but
Mhm.
it's not actually, and you're thinking that it must be someone who passed, and it turns out it's someone who just hates you that much, and it forms into the ghost of a living person, as they call it,
Mhm.
and comes after you.
Mhm.
I did hear that with ITC. Somebody, got great Christian objects could move. Ghost associated with.
Remote controls.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think poltergeist is in a house. Like if we're all fighting in a house,
Yeah.
Mhm.
it creates that. This one can actually go somewhere else and follow you and get you.
What you are, what you create. What
Yeah.
you create, what you are. It just goes to that thing. That's why I always say my husband has a nasty habit of getting angry at something. It doesn't matter. He just sets him off. I said, "You can't do this." Nope. I said, "Don't do this." You never get angry in a house. Even though if you're angry at the children, you talk to them, but do not get this full blown anger in your home because it brings in energy that you don't want. So you just can't do that. That's why I always say that. You know, if you can be mad at somebody, you can be angry at the kids. You can say something, but you never get full blown anger and just scream and yell just because you want to. It's just
Mhm.
not healthy.
Yeah, the negativity, you
you
know.
you you don't need that in your home. It's just really bad juju to do that, right?
Mhm. Yeah, you're bringing the negativity in. So if you have any kind of activity already in your house, it's gonna amp
It's
it.
good. Yeah, and it's gonna make it worse. And then it's really hard to get rid of too once you bring it in. You, it's
Mhm.
almost like inviting it in. Once you invite it in, you can't. It takes a heck of a lot of energy to get rid of. That's for sure.
Mhm. Yeah. Uh, I mean, to get rid of bad energy sometimes is a little hard. If it's
Yeah,
attached to you, it's attached to you, whatever.
yeah,
You know, and double gangers.
That's a good point. I
Mhm.
mean, we don't actually know what they are, so
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, double gangers is crazy.
yeah.
I've seen them.
Even
I've seen one a couple of times. I was in the cemetery doing an investigation with this team, and there was a woman walking up ahead of me, one of the people, and I was calling to her. I'm like, "Hey," and she kept on walking, and I'm like, "Hey," and I screaming her name. I'm like, "Well, you okay?" I was calling her name. And I hear from behind me, "Yeah, I'm fine." I turn around, and
what?
she walked. She was like, not even. She heard me calling, and she come walking over to me because she heard me calling her name. But I seen her be ahead of me. So when
Mm,
I turned to her, I'm like, "What?" And the one ahead of me was gone. I'm like, "Oh, that's crazy."
yeah. And you have to
Yeah,
you have to go like rub your eyes. Go. Did I just see what I just saw? You
yeah.
know,
And I'm like, "I
like
don't even have my camera on. Come
I
on."
I know I didn't drink anything. I know I only had this, right?
Yeah,
I
she
know
was
I
in front of me.
had a glass of water or I had a jug of water with me. Oh, like, okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like, some we see, like when you see things too. To this day, sometimes I try to. Uh, I don't believe. I have to prove to myself that I seen it also.
Mhm. Mhm.
So because to this day, I mean, I've been doing it a long time, but sometimes I got my doubts too. You know,
Mhm.
you could see things, and almost anything could. You know, if you're looking in a window and you see somebody standing there, it might not be the wind. It might be a tree or a bush or something, a curtain behind the window that
Mhm.
whatever at that time looked like somebody standing there.
Mhm.
So I would like to go in there and check it out before I, I say, oh yeah, that's something, or then I still may, well, it could be a reflection or whatever, because it's like you said, there's too much stuff out there right now. People trying to push as real evidence.
Hmm.
It is.
It's
It's true.
ridiculous. You got the YouTube and Instagram people that,
Hmm.
like I said, they're looking for people to, viewers, so they can make a couple of dollars off of it. If they get enough people, they get enough, they can make a couple bucks off it. What's wrong
Hmm.
with Earth twins, big doppelgangers? Uh, I mean, twins, if
I
they
don't know.
lost before or after birth. Um, I did hear of a twin, like somebody had. They did have like a spirit buddy, and that was, you know, they said it was their brother or sister or something like that.
Hmm.
Their twin, and they were still talking to me, even though they weren't there. I seen that. A doppelganger. I don't think doppelgangers are like family members.
No.
There's something else.
Hmm.
There's something else that imitates people, and they say if you meet your own doppelganger, you're gonna die. I don't know about
Mm,
that, but
no.
I haven't come across my own yet.
No.
And if there's two of me, one of us has to go.
Hmm. Yeah.
Not gonna be me.
Hello.
And I
Yeah.
know
But
we talked about Gettysburg before, well, you brought it up, but there's a theory, and Gettysburg is one of the best examples I can think of, where some paranormal investigators believe, like the if you believe in the whole um time parallel, whatever you want to call it, where they overlap. Gettysburg is the perfect example of that, where there's been people who will work in like an office building. They said back, during the war, it was used as a hospital. They
hmm
pressed on a floor, they pressed to go down to the first floor, but for some odd reason, it went past the first floor and went to the basement, and it opened up. And
hmm
they said once it opened up, they were scared because it was like they were transported
Hmm.
back in time, where all they saw was like, like injured soldiers and nurses and doctors running around. And they said like no one paid attention to us, but like one soldier injured looked like he was staring straight at us.
hmm
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if they had a time slip, and maybe that soldier actually did see them, because everyone was like, well, no one else saw. I was like, oh yeah, they were probably focusing on all the injured people in front of them, besides that one soldier who probably was like, my time has come, was looking at you. And they probably thought nothing of it. They're like, "Oh, my time has come." I
Hmm.
can't imagine being a time slip though, seeing like clothes of today, what
hmm
they must have thought.
I think that was something like that happened at the Gettysburg Hotel, where they went down the elevator and they seen that down in the basement. Um, because that's where most of the Confederate soldiers were, in that circle by that. And as they went into Gettysburg, they went up Baltimore Avenue, as and they went up into it, and that's the first battlefield really of Gettysburg was the town. The town had the
hmm
the town was the battlefield before, as before the battlefield actually started, where the open fields were, where the farms were and everything, and that's when they came around the other side with the Confederates by picking charge. But this in town, they were coming up in town, and they were coming in so fast that there was people in the town, women and children, stuck inside their buildings because their men already went off to war, and the women and children, that they actually stopped fighting to let all the women and children out, got them all to safety, and then started fighting again. Which
hmm
today's war, that would never happen.
Yeah.
They actually show, because they were American against American also. You
Yeah.
know, So I guess they had some kind of compassion for each other, and so when they went up into the town, that's when they started fighting, and snipers are getting inside buildings, and so that's Gettysburg. Gettysburg, I consider as a candy store to the
Mm-hmm.
paranormal. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you could be the biggest skeptic. You're going to go there, and you might not say something, but you're going to see in back of your head and like, what was that?
Yeah.
You know, because I got so much evidence there from the battlefield to the buildings and everything.
It's not just also seen in the past, is because I know every time we think of the time slip, oh, it's us seen in the past. However, I think it also goes the other way, and we don't realize how often that happens just
Mhm.
because Kalani, the ghost hunter, was saying in an interview that he was investigating a haunted location, and he was like, I asked, what year is it to you? And the person said 2048. So they're in the future investigating, and it turns out they're in the future investigating, and they thought he was the ghost.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be like a time slip, or they didn't see
Mhm.
it, but you could, communicate like that way, like you could hear each other.
Yeah, it was a good point before you brought up. It's like you said, you're communicating with ghosts. Like you said, they may think you're the ghost.
Yeah,
It's so there was a movie about that.
the others.
The others. That was a cool
Yeah,
movie. At the end, I
it
Yeah.
was
was.
that was a very cool movie, and it makes you think. Yeah, maybe we are haunting them.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of locations, like multiple. Every weekend, there's a new group going there,
Mm-hmm.
and there's new groups going there. So maybe they're thinking like, "Wow, what are these people? They're haunting us. This is
Mm-hmm.
we're here now." So maybe it is some kind of time slip,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know.
And they assume they're in the haunted location, and it's just us.
Hmm.
And I was like, man, we must have a lot of spirit visitors.
Well, remember, there's more dead people than are living in this world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's thousands and thousands of years of people dying.
Now,
There's
especially
a
here in
lot more of them
Japan.
that's living here right now.
Japan's history is not very pleasant.
No.
Yeah.
That is one
Nah.
thing. That is one thing I do give Japan credit for, is they at least admit to it. Compared to America, I feel is trying to hide it more and more.
Yeah.
Mm,
Oh, yeah. They hide everything nowadays.
yeah.
Yeah,
You don't get it taught in school no more.
No.
that's
History.
what I was telling people. There's certain things, such as like the Civil War, that are not. It's not really taught, especially like slavery is barely taught in schools now, especially with all statues coming down. It's like they don't really have to have that conversation anymore to them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And it's amazing talking to people how much they don't really bring it up. But it's one of those things where it might be barely mentioned,
Mm,
but they act like
mm.
it's no big deal. And that's just it. It's just like kind of barely mentioned now in schools.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's like almost trying to whitewash history and trying to erase it from the world, and you can't do it. You can't erase it. Once you erase it, there's no way of learning what not to do now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you don't learn. There's no way of learning by your mistakes.
Nope.
That's what history's about. You
Yep.
learn your history, and then now you go into the future and like, they did try that one time and it didn't
Hmm.
work. So let's
No.
try a different way. That's what history's about. But
Yeah.
history always repeats itself because there's always somebody there that
Who's
thinks they're
who's tr-
going to be
yeah.
something more.
And they really don't believe it, or they really don't understand it, or they really don't want to know what happens. Nah, that didn't happen, but it did.
Hmm.
You know,
and then
and
people in Germany are saying they're the exact opposite, where it is a requirement in their school where you have to go to a Holocaust museum. You have to visit a concentration camp. That is part of the requirement for school.
Oh, really?
So it's
Okay.
just, yeah, they're saying, we know what happened. We know it's terrible, but we don't hide from it. Unlike you get Americans who are now hiding it, and now you don't really have to teach it. It's taught. You have to go visit these places. It's a requirement. So you
Hmm.
know how much history sucks. It sucks.
Hmm.
There's nothing we can do about it. That's
No,
why it's history.
Hmm.
it happened. It's you can't sugarcoat it. You can't put roses up it. You can't grow roses around it. You can't do anything like that. You have it's raw. It's nasty. It's horrible. It's bad, but it's part of life. And
Hmm.
you have to learn. You have to understand it. You don't necessarily have to agree with it, but you have to understand that it happened. And yeah, learn from it. And learn what not to do, what not to be like, and how to change your mind and how to be open about it and
Hmm.
understand that maybe it wasn't good, maybe it was bad. Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, it was horrible, but it's part of history and it's part of life.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Hmm.
saying. It's history's not pleasant, but it
No,
is what it is.
yeah,
And
and you can't
they
change
only
it.
write down what they want you to know,
Yeah,
and
you
Yeah,
can't.
they skip it. They skip what's not.
Yeah,
You know what they feel. Well, let's write down and teach what we want, and
hmm,
we just put this aside. We don't have to really teach that. They teach in between the chapters, like
hmm,
this, and this. But how did you get to that point? What's in between that?
yeah.
That
That's why I
they
like
don't.
going to the certain places in Japan that nobody knows of. Nobody wants to know what happened. It was a bad place. It was a bad time, but it's haunted and it's really cool and it's really interesting and it's really sad. But I mean, you know, that's why I take a lot of people there and they don't know about it. And they're not going to know about it because it's not going to be written anywhere. And then there's not going to be any written in any books in America either. What happened? And
Mhm.
I gotta take you there. You gotta see this place. It's really,
that's the
it's
whole that's the whole conspiracy theory though with the
yeah,
Mandela effect. It's
yeah,
Mhm.
them trying to see if they can actually change history so
yeah,
we think what they want us to basically.
yeah,
They're trying to change what happened. That's
yeah,
why they're creating Mandela effect is that's why
yeah,
certain things are now being changed. It's more of a test to see how far they can push it before they really change what
yeah,
they want to change.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, the Mandela effect. And every day there's something new added
mm,
on to that, from movies to you
yeah,
know history or whatever. So Mandela effect is you look at it and like, yeah, I remember that, and then they're like, oh no, that never happened. Wait a minute, but I
yeah,
remember that as a kid. That never happened. I
And then
remember
other
that.
people remember the same thing you did. And we're like, how do we remember the same thing that never happened?
yeah,
Yeah. It's like how can you know there's thousands and hundreds of thousands of people saying this is what happened. Now you're saying no, and then there's people falling back. Oh yeah, it didn't happen.
mhm.
You know.
That's
But
why I like to take my friends to certain places
hmm.
here that nobody knows, and it's in some place. But yeah, you got to figure that out.
Hmm.
It's the most coolest, the most beautiful place, but it's the most wicked haunted place you ever been. And yeah, there's a lot of cool places here that are like that.
Yeah, that's a character. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the places I know out there is of course, is the haunted forest out by you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Know? And I know they made movies about it and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's interesting how people just go there and vanish, or
Mm.
they actually do kill themselves. No,
Irene, you were recently there. How was it?
I didn't go there. I went to the Suicide Waterfall.
Oh, I thought you went
suicide.
before.
What do you guys
Yeah.
suicide everything in Japan, huh?
Well, the Suicide Waterfall, what happened there was after Japan lost the war, they assumed America is going to come over and change their whole way of life and take over. So they were
Mm-hmm.
not happy about it. So basically, a bunch of people made a pact and they jumped off the waterfall to their death before
Hmm.
American can come over there and change everything.
So they didn't want to like eat some hot dogs and
No,
why?
they did not want to change their way of life at all. They were so
I like the sushi better.
anti they were so anti-America that they were like, we'd rather die than see anything Americanized over here.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's the place where I was talking about a couple seconds ago. It's the most beautiful waterfall you've ever seen. Kids go there for a 3-day tour, and kids really don't talk about what really happened because teachers don't tell you. But yeah, I mean, I took a lot of pictures, and something told me take a picture there, take a picture there, take a picture there, and it was really crazy because when I took the picture, the right side and the left side were all rocky hills, and they had moss growing on the hills. It didn't come out that way; it came out all white
Oh,
on
really?
yeah, on the left side and right side, and you could see the faces in the white areas. It's really cool, and then and then you can see the water as it comes down. You can see when you take a picture. When you look at it, you really mm, you can see, but it's really hard to. But when you take a still photograph, that's when you really see it, and you can see the faces in the water as the water's coming down.
I can see that with the water, any kind of running water also amps up activity.
Yeah, yeah.
So you got your running water. So you got and how many gallons go over that falls all the time, and all that
Mhm.
pressure and everything. I could see spirits being there, especially since it was a place where people actually ended their lives.
Mhm.
You know, I could see that amping up everything because you have the ending of somebody's life, and then the water that's adding the energy to redo that scene all the time, over and over and over.
They had a
They
small
do.
waterfall on the right hand side of it, and I could see a whole bunch of kids dying too. But the older people jumped off the big waterfall. The children jumped off the little one. So, eh, yeah,
That's wow. That's
yeah.
something I never heard of. Nothing I heard about the forest because they did a movie on it, and there's
Hmm.
always something on that, but I never heard about that waterfall.
I can see that happening
I
with the forest though, just because I was talking to someone who went to the suicide forest and they said, I'm not gifted, I'm not as sensitive, I'm not I, I'm not a medium, I'm not psychic, I have nothing. I went into the forest with a group of friends, and they said, as soon as they started walking in, they heard a low humming noise. No
hmm
one else heard it, so they're like, I thought it wasn't too loud, so they thought nothing of it at first. But then they started walking more into the forest, and the more he walked in, the more of the humming he kept hearing. But no one else could
hmm
hear it. 20 minutes in, he said it sounded so deafening to him that he
hmm
couldn't take it. And he's like, so I didn't feel right. I just heard it was also deafening. Like I
hmm
said, no one else could hear it though. And I'm like, guys, we have to go back. We
Yeah,
have to go back. And they were like, we drove hours to come here. You're the one who wanted to come here. And he was like, I don't care. We gotta go back. And they're like, he's like, we had to we had to leave because of that.
yeah, yeah. It's it's it gets into your head and it just makes you go absolutely
Really?
bonkers. You think you're going bonkers. I went to a shrine. We took our friends. Amanda knows who it is. We took them to the shrine. On top, they have the tombs, and it's like in the middle of the mountain, and you have to climb the stairs to go up to the top of the mountain where their tombs are. I couldn't climb it. I started getting sick to my stomach. I started seeing samurai warriors fighting and doing sword fight and all kinds of crazy things happening. And I started getting sick to my stomach. I started getting dizzy. I said, "Yeah, I can't do this." I told my husband I couldn't do this, and I started getting really sick. And I said, "Yeah, I have to go down." So I walked down. We went inside the shrine that was attached to this place, and all of a sudden it freed me from what was attacking me, and I didn't get scared, but I knew it was really creepy, and they started getting into my head. I could feel it, I could see it, I could see the battle, I could see the crazy stuff that you don't want to talk about happening. I said, yeah, this is not good. When I prayed in the shrine, I got better, so it kind of like got rid of what was attacking me,
Mhm.
and it was really, I couldn't explain it what it was happening, and it was really weird. I said, okay, I'm hungry, let's go and have something to eat. And it was really creepy, and this place is extremely haunted. I know it's haunted, right? And
Mhm.
the weather was just right where it rained. It was kind of like drizzling rain, and you could see the right setup for a great haunted movie, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and they were out really strong, and everyone was walking up the mountain. They're walking up the staircase. They're seeing the tombs. They were coming down from the staircase. And here was going, yeah, I don't feel good. I don't feel good. I don't feel good. And oh man, I said, I've been up that mountain before. I've been up the tombs before. I've seen everything before. It's just that I couldn't go this time, and something bothered me. I said, yeah, I'm not doing that. And I forgot to wear my obsidian bracelet, right?
Mhm.
So I got, okay, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are places like that here that's really crazy haunted, especially if there's a shrine attached to it, right, Amanda?
Yeah.
And if there's a shrine attached to it, you bet it's gonna be haunted.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of shrines in Japan were actually made to appease an angry spirit. That is, Japan does not have demonologists. We don't
No,
even have paranormal teams. We don't have anyone that's going to come bless your house.
no.
If you actually thought you needed your house cleansed, the most they're going to do is send you some of. Irene would know what it's called more than I would, and she's seen it. I've seen a pack. They'll send you like a package of their blessed salt,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes.
blessed salt, and be like, here you go, figure it out. But as you're on your, and Irene will tell you, here in Japan, you're on your own for hauntings.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why they tend to ignore it. That's also tend to why haunted places are more boarded up to the public,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
or locked up, so no, the public can't go in, or
yeah,
fenced off. They're not supposed to go in just because they're worried. They're like, okay, we think it's haunted. There's a spirit. We don't know what to do if this thing gets angry. So
yeah,
the only
Mhm.
thing they know, the only thing they do here is build a shrine to it and hope it's happy enough with that to not cause havoc.
or you know what you do when you live in a haunted place, you find it's haunted, and you really don't like it, you leave. You you just
Just
pack
move.
up your bags and you move.
It could
That's
be.
what I
I
learned.
don't know how his mental state was going into the
No,
forest, but it
different.
could have been the person they picked first in the group. Because as
Yeah,
Anthony was saying, people do disappear there, or they also think people go there. Loved ones thinks, well, there's a possibility they could have changed their minds,
yeah,
but they're like something in that forest pushed them. It could have been that. It could have been
yeah,
them. It could have been the start of they went further. Something would have happened.
yeah.
Mm.
Like
Oh,
once you
yeah.
go in there, you can't come out. And
Yeah,
Oh,
there are a lot of
that
places
might
like
have
that
been it if
here.
he would have kept. That's why he had that gut feeling. I gotta get
Yeah,
out of here. It could have been picked. It could have picked him in the group
yeah,
first.
yeah. They could have
To
start picking off people in the group and say, okay, he's gonna go first. We're gonna pick
I
him.
definitely agree with this. We have
Yeah,
more pissed off ghosts than any other place.
yeah. It's there are a lot of places like that here. You can go during the daytime, but at nighttime, yeah, you better leave because they're not gonna find you the next day. They're not
oh
gonna find
wow.
any part of you the next day. Yeah, there are beaches like that here that after World War II, there's soldiers who died on the beaches, and everyone knows about it who is old enough to know about it. Young people don't know about it, but they close off the park at 9 o'clock at night. And I was told you don't go near that park, right? I said, okay, I promise I won't go there. Because if you go there and it's nighttime, they're not going to find your body or they're not going to find any piece of you. They'll take you by money and souls.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would love to leave trail cams there.
Yeah.
You put
I
the bunch of
mean,
trail cams, you get
Oh,
out of there.
oh, yeah. I'd be afraid to see what you'd see at night.
Yeah, I
no.
would. I love to have trail cams all over that area. Leave, and then come back when it's safe, and then you review it. Imagine what you might get.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful park. And the ocean is next to it, but that one area you're not supposed to go. And I was told by my relatives, don't go there at nighttime. You can look at it, but don't go
See,
there.
if we had more places like that here, if I go to it and I disappear, I
Hmm.
think I would give up investigating.
Yeah.
you know, I'm not going to go anywhere. Well, you know, you get some evidence, or you won't. Next
Yeah.
time somebody comes here, you're going to be the evidence because
Yeah.
you're going to be haunted the place. I don't
Yeah.
know about that.
And if you're a man and you're in the forest, any particular forest in the mountains, yeah, like you can come out alive, right? Because a lot of spirits here, a lot of women,
Hmm.
they like to haunt men.
Okay, in a bad way, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So they'll ask, and when you say come here, they'll do this. In Japan, you say come here, it's doing this way.
That's
Like,
them calling, yeah.
yeah. So they ask you to come here. And if you go there, if you answer them, if you talk to them, yeah, you're dead meat.
Yeah, I think I can stay away from Japan.
Oh, you should come. I'll
Yeah,
take you on.
you take me
You'll
over
have a lot of
there.
fun.
I'd be like, what do you want? Come here.
Oh,
No,
don't worry. I won't take you into the forest. I won't take you
Yeah,
there
come here, come
because
here.
I won't go there myself. But there's other places that are really cool that we could visit. Yeah.
Mhm,
And a lot of historical places are really cool too that are kind of like really crazy haunted. Yeah.
mhm,
I'll take you there. Don't worry. There's. I'm not going to be stupid, okay? I pick and choose to where I go to.
mhm.
Um, there's a lot of places where you shouldn't go, right, Amanda? And there's a lot of places where you can go, right? And I'm not gonna be dumb dumb. So, you pick and choose your battles, right?
Yeah, yeah, I guess so. I mean, being dismantled and disarmed. I mean, I don't know about this.
Yeah, that's why I said I pick and choose my battles, and I'm not
Yeah.
gonna be an idiot because I know better, right? Like I've got children, okay.
Mhm.
I'd rather be alive than not, you know.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's one of the things I always say on my podcast. Is like at the end, I said, "You want to look for ghosts. You don't want to be a ghost. Stay safe."
Yeah, 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 exactly, exactly,
You
exactly.
know,
And
because
pick it.
people do go into locations that are, I know over here, like abandoned places that are falling down. Now you go
Yeah,
in there by yourself. Nobody's gonna know where you're there. If anything
no,
happens, they're not gonna find you.
no, 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 no. And if it's really bad, like, how do you know, like, you're gonna be okay? And how do you know that something's not gonna get you? Even though, yeah, okay, I'm really good. Okay, I got this and this and this with me. I can see things and blah blah blah. Yeah, so what? Like, do
Mm-hmm.
they care? They don't care, right?
Do you guys like Bigfoot and stuff like that? There, other
We
Yeah,
cryptids.
do. We actually do. It's ours is different. We don't have cryptid hunters, so anytime we talk to a cryptid hunter or a Bigfoot researcher, one thing we always say, and if anyone out there is listening who's a Bigfoot researcher or cryptid researcher, come to Japan. We have thousands, and no one's willing to research them. So
yep.
no one is going to compete with you. You want competition? You have to bring your own competition. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you, if you come here and you research them, any information you get is going to be new and groundbreaking. So yeah, keep that in mind. Oh yeah, we do
Yeah,
have our own Bigfoot.
yeah.
Usually out here, like I said, we have thousands. No one's researching them. So
No.
Irene can also tell you. if you research them, unfortunately, it might be just like a description of what it looks like and where it's located.
Mm-hmm.
Or there, if you're lucky, you might get another sentence or two about them. That's basically it,
Yeah.
because no one wants
Yeah.
to. It's like the whole ghost thing. They don't want to deal with it. Are
No.
they friendly? We don't know, because
Yeah.
they're just like, we see it and we walk away.
Yeah. And
So we
they
do
even
have our own.
That's always
yeah.
good to know. Like you see Bigfoot, you walk away. You don't give him a
Yeah,
Slim Jim.
our
Yeah.
Bigfoot is only. It's only at any time it's been seen. It's only been 5 foot tall.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
we're talking to another Bigfoot researcher, and they're like, "Well, that sounds like an adolescent," and we're like, "We don't know. Why don't
Yeah.
you come here and tell us?"
Yeah. And like, yeah, the whole thing will be all yours. Like nobody's gonna steal it from you. Nobody wants to steal it
Hmm.
from you, right? Nobody wants it here, right? And
Yeah, we
nobody's
thought
gonna
about making
research
that
it.
ad, me and Irene.
Yeah,
Bigfoot hunter?
yeah.
Yeah.
Japan.
Yeah.
No
Come,
one
come
like
to
you.
Japan, where we got the most Bigfoots in the world.
Yeah. We
Got the
got the
most
most
cryptid.
cryptids, we got the
Yeah.
most
Huh.
Bigfoots, we got the most everything. You know, gee whiz. And they even said that I heard a scientist, a Japanese scientist said he even said that even probably Godzilla existed in Japan too.
Yeah, they think Godzilla actually existed, and he either is living in waters around Mount Fuji or
Hmm.
in Mount Fuji.
And the volcano.
Yeah.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
you got to
So
watch out for Tokyo.
that's where Godzilla came from, is that he was an actual cryptid back in the day.
So you got to
Yeah.
watch out for Tokyo there. Like every
I live
Godzilla
in
movie, they always
Tokyo.
destroying Tokyo.
I live in Tokyo. Nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
The
You
only
don't want
thing
no
that
Bigfoot.
the only thing that's crazy is our earthquakes in Tokyo. That's all. Nothing else. Like
So
if it shakes.
you don't want to see Godzilla walking down the middle of your street one day. Yeah.
Yeah, there shakes some
Interesting
earthquake. This is
because
Godzilla's movies again. Yeah.
any one of these creatures that they people talk about, they and like all these legends, it came from somewhere. Somebody did see something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe they made it more than it was. You have
Yeah.
Godzilla, Bigfoot.
I
Bigfoot
Don't,
mean,
doesn't
don't scare
scare us.
no.
me.
We have Godzilla.
Yeah. And
No,
they're saying it's legends, right? But 90% of the stuff that comes out of this country are mostly legends, and a lot of people do believe in them. Like there's a fine line between truth and just like hearsay. But
Mhm.
yeah, if you ask older people about it, they'll say it does exist, and it's not a legend; it's a truth. Okay, yeah,
That's
that's
all.
creepy. Yeah.
I mean, that'd be cool. I mean, I want to see Bigfoot, but I've been invited on investigations with Bigfoot. I mean, but I'm like, oh, I would go with you. I would go, and then they say like, you got to park your car and walk 10 miles into the woods.
Oh
Walk
yeah,
10
okay.
miles? Are you kidding? I get tired going up 2 steps. I'm gonna walk 10 miles. I don't think so.
Oh, you would hate shrines here then, especially the famous Inari shrine in Kyoto.
Hmm.
For some odd reason, most shrines have so many steps to go up to the top. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Is there the number of the steps? Does it have any significance with that?
I don't know. Uh, it varies, but I know the one Kyoto. I don't know why, but it has 2,000 steps going, no, 20,000 steps going up.
Hmm.
That's just going up. 20,000 steps going up because we did that. And oh, that was not.
How
Yeah,
many
You gotta
days
that
be
was
does it
fun.
take
prepared
you?
for that.
How many
Yeah.
days does it take you to go up 20,000 steps?
Um,
You have to
it,
camp halfway up.
well, luckily,
Like,
I mean, there is like a there is a point you can sit at a point up though, which is
Mhm.
good.
yeah.
You need it.
The temple that my relatives made is up the mountain. It's really weird. Like you have to walk up the mountain. Like by the time I'm up there, I go,
I
Like,
I don't know about that.
That is true. I think they thought dragons. Did they think dragons were here once too, Irene?
hmm yeah, yeah.
Dragon.
They got dragons. They got a big dog that protects dragons protects from evil.
What do
So
you
you
guys
have
live in
to
the Games of Thrones?
no
Probably back in the
dragons.
day, it sounds like
You
we
got
had
dragons,
dragons,
everything. It's like wow. But
dragons, Godzilla,
Yeah.
Bigfoot.
Godzilla could have been a dragon because he does blow,
Well,
lightning. But yeah,
He could have been, yeah, just not a
yeah,
flying.
yeah.
it's like yeah,
So you
that's
got
interesting.
you have to put a dragon on the east side and one looking on the west side, so it protects your four corners of your home. So nothing bad, nothing evil happens in your home. So everything is like you protect your home. So you have dragons, you have a pile of salt, you got this, you got that, you got, and the outside of your house you have to have a couple of dogs uh on the left side and right side of your house on the outside. So yeah,
Did your
everything is
house
to
have to face
protect
a
your
certain way,
home.
like east to west or something like that too?
Yeah, yeah. And anything dead lays on if when you go to a funeral, they're all their heads are facing east to west. But if you're alive, you only put your bed north and south.
So
You never sleep east to west. Never do that.
uh,
Never do that.
That's
No.
what we're saying. Is who knows what Godzilla was? We just know here
Yeah.
it was said to exist, so maybe he was a kind of dragon. Who knows?
Yeah.
that's
So
that's
it's
interesting
just
with the stuff. You know,
we're really superstitious in this country.
Yeah, that's actually what someone else told me is because I did ask some because here people are not publicly into the paranormal.
Nope.
Mhm.
Even there might be some people who do videos, but they're either behind a camera or their face is blurred or
Yeah.
they're wearing a mask.
Mhm.
And we've reached out to them trying to either network or be friends or something. I don't get a response. Irene says she gets a ha 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 back.
Oh, that's all they do. I go,
Mhm.
okay, that was helpful, really. Like, so there's only two of us.
Yeah, and then there are some people who make a living. They're not into. I wouldn't say they don't investigate, but they do write books or whatever on urban legends of Japan.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I've reached out, and they still won't even talk to us. The only thing one did answer what I say is, why do you think people in Japan don't speak or into the paranormal? And the only
Mhm.
thing he said is, people in Japan are more superstitious than religious. And I
Mhm.
thought about it, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Because I even say, any successful shrine in Japan has some kind of good luck gimmick. Like, if you come here, we'll bless your money and it helps you bring in more money, or you come here, there
Yeah.
is loved ones where you go and you do whatever, and it helps you find your true love.
Mhm.
And there's just shrines like that. There's a lot of love ones, there's a lot of money ones.
Mhm.
Is there any other ones, Irene?
There's a lot of protection ones. There's a lot of ones that you go to when you if you have an exam, you go to that shrine to make sure that you pass your exam. Stuff
Yeah,
like
there
that.
is they do have a shrine amulet for
Mhm.
help you with your, do good luck in education charms,
Mhm.
Hmm.
And they
whatever
have
that's
one
called.
that helps you if you get into a car accident to make sure that you stay safe. If you're sick, there's a shrine that helps you if you're
There's
if you're not
amulets
feeling
for
good.
all those too. You can
Yeah,
buy
yeah,
from the
yeah,
shrine.
yeah.
Is there a lot of teams out by you? Is there a lot of investigation teams, or just
No, it's
few?
just me and Irene who's public about it. Trust, that's the first
That's
thing.
just
When I
us.
first got here, one of the first things I did was, I'm gonna book investigations in Japan so I can tell all my friends in America all these cool investigations I did in Japan. I'm
Yep.
gonna meet up with the paranormal community. be involved in the paranormal community. I can't wait to make those connections. And I get here and I'm looking for it. She's laughing because I'm like, I found absolutely nothing until I finally found Irene on social media. And she's like, yeah, I know you didn't find anything because it's just me.
Oh wow.
The reason why I'm saying it's just me is because I'll come out and I'll tell you what I do. But in my home, around my neighborhood, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just Irene. She is the paranormal community. Irene can tell you, I mean, before she did this, that she lives in a haunted place and she tried reaching out to people to come help her, come bless her condominium, whatever, and no, absolutely no one would come out because they don't do that here.
No.
Wow. Over
And
here, everybody with K2 is an investigator nowadays.
yeah,
The
and the
K2
and
meter.
then
It's like, oh, I'm an investigator. You
yeah,
know.
that's why I said you move. That's why there's a lot of abandoned homes that are they're even government are trying to give it out free, and you see, there's no rule where you just have to say it's haunted
Hmm.
to the real estate agent because you can't say that. No. So yeah, you just leave. And
You
it's no
know, maybe
guarantee.
you're the only one. You're the sole survivor. Maybe there was
Yeah,
a lot of them, and they went to those locations, and they all disappeared.
yeah.
It could be. You could be
Or
the
they
only
all
one who didn't
died.
You're the only
disappear,
one
Irene.
left. Out of all
And
those investigators, they were place they weren't supposed to be
yeah,
at any
there's no
time.
guarantee what you move is going to be haunted or not. So you actually need a medium to see if your property or the soil on the property is safe, the house is safe. Like, okay,
Mhm.
yeah, you actually need a medium to buy a house.
Really?
Yeah, like Amanda's place, she's got portals in her place, and yeah, she sees a lot of stuff too. And yeah, I mean, if you want to see anything haunted, just go at your front door.
Yeah,
Boom. It's yeah,
I've seen so many more shadow figures here than I ever did
yeah,
United States ever. And the
yeah.
weird thing is here we're shadow figures, and usually in America, if you see a shadow figure, is either we're lucky and caught it in a picture, or you kind of just briefly saw it inside of your eye, or you saw it kind of run past. Here, they will stand and stare at you.
Yep.
Be like,
Listen.
"What are you gonna
Yeah,
do?"
yeah. Like, huh? What do you want? Right? I
And a lot of
see
people are like, "How come
you.
you don't take its picture, try and talk to it?" Because it's like it tells me not to, and I'm like, "I'm not," and I'm like, "You know what? That's your boundary. I will let you have that boundary. You don't want me to take your picture. You want me to leave you alone. You just want to stand there and be like, this is my area. You do not come near my area. Fine,
Yeah.
I'm good." They have occasionally just like appeared in my apartment. Like my dog will start barking. I'll go out and see what she runs out and barking at. It's a shadow figure, and it's one of those that are just kind of in and out. But it's one of those
Mm.
things they're just saying, "Yeah, cross my boundary. I can enter your apartment." And I'm like, I wasn't going to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to try and fight you.
No. Like, bye.
I know. And I'm like, look, you told me what your area is. You said if I have to be over there, you let me be over in that go around here. And I'm like, that's fine. I'm not going to enter your space. I'm not going to cross your boundary. I'm not going. You don't want to talk to me? I won't. I won't try to talk to you.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, this is what this country is all about. You see, there are places that you don't know, we don't know that's haunted. That yeah, it can be a regular house, it can be a regular apartment, it can be a regular room in a
It could be
house, it can be a
anything
regular
here.
apartment building. Yeah, it's just yeah. And that's why I say you need a medium in order to rent a house or an apartment or to buy a house because
And Irene, that's just you who comes out and admits that, though. So no one else is gonna have
no. But
that.
it's yeah, it depends on how spooky you want to get, right?
And there's no religious figures that would help you, like bless a house or, help you.
No, even if you reach out to a temple, like I said, I mean,
Yeah.
the only thing I thought they would do is either nothing in Irene's case, or possibly send you a small thing of their blessed salt, which is also the same little salt packet you get at a Japanese funeral.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I have a crucifix on my wall, and I have a wooden thing that has blessed on my mantle. Yeah, when I lived in a haunted place, that didn't help me. So yeah, move.
Get out!
Yeah, yeah,
Like all the
exactly.
movies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's interesting.
it's
Yeah.
just it's pretty bad. It's pretty nasty. So
I think
you don't want to
paranormal
deal with it.
people who come to Japan end up leaving with a bunch of evidence.
Yeah,
Or they might have attachments that follow them back here.
Same,
yeah,
yes, they definitely they might have both.
Yeah,
yeah.
because they probably figured they want to get out of there. It's overcrowded by you. They wanted to go somewhere new. So,
No, a lot of these spirits would not want to come to America. That's
No.
the only
because
reason why
they
they
don't want
might
the
be.
American way.
Yeah, they might be attached to you because they don't like you and they just want to make you sick.
Mm,
But other than that, do they want to be in America? No. This is also
No.
why. So during the war here, Irene can tell you that a lot of the American soldiers, as trophies, would take samurai swords of
hmm
their victims, and the government begs for them back, not because it's a piece of history, but it has the samurai spirit attached to it.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
And I think when they get to America, they tend to go more crazy because
Mm-hmm.
it's like you brought a samurai spirit back with you to America where they don't want to be, where they really
Yeah.
don't like. So imagine your spirit is attached to something if someone brings you to the place you hate the most.
Yeah.
That's what it is for them.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they get angry, and they get really angry, and they start doing stuff that you don't expect a spirit to do. So they lash out and say, "What do you expect, right?"
Yeah. I mean, you bring an object back, whatever attached to that object, you're going to have that spirit coming back. And if they don't want you to have that object, they won't be nice about it, you know?
No.
No, no. They're gonna be angry. They're gonna lash
Mm,
out. They're gonna do all kinds of stuff. They're gonna start haunting your place. They're gonna start messing around in your home. They're gonna
Yeah.
start doing something to your family member. It doesn't matter. You know, they'll
Even your
lash out.
animals.
Yep, yep.
We've
They'll
Even,
had
lash out.
people beg us to send them haunted items from Japan, and we're like, absolutely not, because if they leave Japan, they're going to. It doesn't matter what kind of spirit it is. Like we can even find a friendly one. You send it out of Japan, it's going to go crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and we're like,
Yep.
we're not going to be responsible for that.
You know,
yeah.
and they wanted haunted dolls from Japan. I said, no, not doing that. I'm sorry.
Oh, they're
Mm-mm.
gonna go crazy.
No.
Now's a
And
craze over here where a lot of these people are collecting haunted dolls. It's
Yeah.
like a new craze, and it's. I mean, okay, I knew people that had them in the past, and they're good trigger objects and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
now that they're collecting them and they're bringing them into their home with their family, and
Mm-hmm.
then they wonder why there's activity or stuff going on, or even their health.
Mm. Yeah, like,
They wonder about their health. Yeah, well, you just have something there that has,
and
it could be a bad energy in it that doesn't want you to have it.
if you don't know how to work with it properly, if you don't know what to do with it, and all of a sudden you bring this in your home and it starts doing stupid stuff to you, like scratching or whatever. Like, I'm on this one case where Amanda knows this person, right, who has this haunted doll that scratches the hell out of him, right? And he's kind of pissed off. And I told him, kept on asking, "What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?" And you know, I mean, the spirit's not bad with me, but it's bad with the person who owns it. And I said, you should be having that in your home, right? If you don't know how to deal with it, if you don't know how to work with
hmm
it, you shouldn't have it in your home. That's it,
hmm
period. And people will say, I want a haunted doll. I want this. I want that in my home. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it's crazy.
so I think the reason why a lot of people want the haunted items in their home is not only because it's a cool thing, but basically, I think the craze happened more after Zach opened his haunted museum in
Mm-hmm.
Vegas. All of a sudden, it's now the cool thing, and that's when more people started collecting haunted items. So they have like they're basically starting their own little small museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that on a lot of the Paracons now. People traveling with haunted objects and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's, I mean, if you're going to put that in your car and drive
No,
from place
even
to place,
authorities didn't like driving with them because
No.
they would do stuff, even try and crash your car before.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know the people even with the Annabelle doll, the regional Annabelle doll. They take that now on tour, and people could take pictures with it, next to it and stuff like that. What? If
Yeah.
that's so bad, you don't do that with these kind of things.
No.
There is a picture which irritates me that someone took with the Annabelle doll where they opened the door to her little whatever you want to call it and took a picture of them kissing its cheek. And I'm like, why? Why who let you do this, first of all?
Is it
Who's
an
let
original Annabelle doll? Because in the Conjuring house, they have a setup with it looks like the Annabelle doll, and
Mm-hmm.
they have it all set up like what would be, because I've seen that, and I've seen people opening that up,
whatever
and doing
that's it,
things.
but still, but saying I'm kissing Annabelle dolls just feels really it still feels disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't understand people well, it must have been a YouTube person because that's what
Uh,
they do.
yeah, I think
Or
it's
they
one of
want
those.
a thrill. They want the thrill out of their life. Like it isn't enough, so they want to do something stupid. To I don't know. Okay, whatever. Like I'm not gonna argue. Like
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the. I'm not just saying. I'm not going to just knock YouTube people, but you got
no.
the YouTubers, you got the Instagram, and then you got people on Facebook sharing things and stuff.
Mm,
And like you said before, we were talking earlier. Like, you're looking at that. I'm like, why? What?
yeah.
What is that?
Mm,
You're looking for the thrill. You want people to say, hey, look at this person. Yeah, and then they become members of whatever
mhm,
on their page so I'm like, but certain dolls. I like I said, I know too many people that collect haunted dolls,
mhm,
and I got dolls in the back here. You see these?
mhm,
They're not haunted, but they're these Bella dolls called, and I put it. My friends have them. They actually talk and everything, and I use them as trigger objects on locations,
mhm,
and it was really good. The dolls actually say the words they're not supposed to say,
mhm,
like calling people's names and stuff.
mhm,
So I seen them on eBay. So I just do a bid on it just as a joke. Of
mhm,
course, I won.
mhm.
And now I got them. So I'll probably bring them on an investigation as a trigger object for kids.
Yeah.
Especially like you know old you know schools and
Mhm,
social schools
mhm,
um, like Penhurst and stuff like that. They got a lot of children there,
mhm,
even in asylums and stuff like
mhm.
that, where
Yep.
they have a lot of children. So you bring in, I like trigger objects. You put a trigger object down and see what you can draw
Mhm,
to it.
mhm.
You
So
know
that's
what
Um.
object really gives me nightmares though? The old Furbies.
the Furbies.
Yes. And then one of the reasons why is I mean, just the way it's creepy enough as it is. But people would say in the middle of the night they'd be sleeping, no one's touching it, it would just start going off. So some people
Mm.
say, because they kept randomly going off, they had to take the batteries out. Even with the batteries out, a lot of them still would go off, and they're like, "How how's this Furby going off with no batteries?"
Yeah.
So I'm like, it gives me nightmares. And imagine no batteries in a Furby and it's still making the noises.
Mm.
Of
Yeah,
course, yeah. I could see Eric building me a Furby REM pod. He'd be like, here you go, enjoy.
yeah. The eyes will light up. It,
I,
I know a
I
lot of
got
people making rampods
something.
out of animals. Yeah,
I got something really cute.
like dogs, cats, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Hi. See?
Oh, it imitates you. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, if you put that in a room by itself with a camera on it and it starts talking, you know
Hmm.
something's saying something to it,
Yeah.
which
So,
that's cool. I like trigger objects.
yeah.
You know, you could
But
use anything as a trigger object, pretty
yeah,
much.
this would be really cool. I haven't taken it anywhere, but yeah, I think it'd be really cool to bring.
Yeah, I got those dolls. I got the doll. I got him. I don't know if the battery's working on him right now.
Mm. Oh, that's cute.
It's not working right now.
Oh, I remember him.
Yeah,
I remember seeing him.
Teddy Ruxpin.
Yes, I was like, what
Mm.
is its name? I can't remember its name.
Yeah, Teddy Ruxpin. Yeah, the battery's not going. It's not on right now. That starts talking right now. The batteries are dead. So, but
When
yeah.
it starts talking without the battery thing, whoops, what the heck's going on,
Yeah.
right?
Are you kidding? I'd be recording it. I'd
Hmm.
be videotaping it all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gotta be careful with that. One day it's just gonna start saying random things and no one's talking to it that you can
Yeah,
see.
that's. I mean, you got stuff. Anything could be used. See, these people go out and spend a lot of money on
No.
equipment, and
Yeah.
they spend. And I was guilty too, and I got enough now. I just got what I want, and that's it. There's
Hmm.
more equipment coming out, and everybody's repeating the old equipment, but in a fancier box or a
Hmm.
fancier thing. So it's the same thing. Um, but the old equipment, like trigger objects, like something
Hmm.
like what you have there, that probably didn't cost much. That
No,
little is it? It's a what chipmunk or something like that,
it's a marmot, but
or hamster or whatever it could be.
yeah. I mean, it didn't cost anything because my kids picked it up on a UFO catcher. Okay, so
Mhm.
they got. But I mean, stuff like that, you don't have to spend money. You
No,
really don't. And
like these sensors that people have now. When
mhm,
they put it in a corner of the room and somebody walks and something, sets it off, and it goes. Jenny Colucci, the one that was in the audience before,
mhm,
she got this Halloween one with like a uh, it's like a Halloween with a witch. That's a
mhm,
and she bought it as it was like a Halloween decoration type of thing,
mhm,
and she paid like a couple bucks for it. She used
mhm.
that thing. That works good.
Yeah,
If something
yeah,
triggers it, it works fine. But it's a
yeah,
little scarier too, seeing a witch
mhm,
popping up and stuff like that. But you don't have to spend a lot of money, and
yeah,
a lot of these people are spending enormous money on these investigation on equipment which you don't
mhm.
need. You
No,
need you need a good video audio recorder.
yeah.
That's what you really do.
And now children's toys comes with a little computer chip in it, so anything like that would work really good.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to spend a whole lot of money. Just go in the toy department and see what you got, see
Hmm.
what there is, and you're good. Like that's all you need.
Yeah, I
And a
even
handful of Jolly Ranchers and a handful of chocolate. You're good. You're like,
well, I got my Red Bull and my Hershey bar. That gets me through it. It is true. Like when we go on investigations, these spirits drain us.
yeah, yeah,
So you need something to give you energy back.
Adrenaline hangover is the thing, and if you're
Yeah,
trying to explain that to someone who doesn't investigate is the hardest thing ever because they're
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, "Oh,
yeah.
it's because you're walking around." I'm like, I am not walking around the whole entire investigation. Like, I don't
No,
know why people are picturing me for like the 4 or 5 hours you're there, constantly walking back and forth. I'm like, no, it's a bunch of sitting around and waiting. I'm not walking
yeah,
because it uses your energy.
And it's draining you too because
Yeah,
everything around you. That's why we do investigation. You always should bring water.
Yeah.
just to hydrate, because
Yeah.
what they do when they take your energy, when they start draining you,
Yeah.
your water in your body is what it's also be taken. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to, and it's dehydrating you because it's evaporating the waters in your body, because that's part of the
Yeah.
energy of you. So
Yeah.
you should always have water. So when you do investigation, drink,
Mm-hmm.
hydrate throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like a hot summer day. You're sweating and get tired and stuff like that. It drains
Yeah.
you. Same
Yeah.
thing. Investigation is pretty much just drains you a lot of
Yeah.
times. With the spirits and
Exactly.
stuff.
Like after a residential, like I could be in there for 6 hours. I said, okay, I'm done. Like somebody else makes supper. Okay, I don't have it. I'm just, I'm, I'm done. I have to go to sleep. I have to take a rest. Okay, because yeah, I'm not gonna do it. Like I'm tired. But treasure objects could also be like chocolate or like hard candy
hmm
spirits, kid spirits, like those two.
hmm
Um, they like stuff like that. So it's always good to have something in your pocket so you can give to the spirit. So they'll come and they'll be more receptive to you, and they'll even talk to you.
Yeah.
So,
Also, I on one of the investigations, and I now haven't done it recently, but I bought a photograph, old record player.
mm-hmm,
You plug it in, and I played old like Glenn Miller record
mm-hmm,
on it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
trigger object, something that they
yeah,
could relate back to. If it's a certain
mm-hmm,
period of time, they could recognize more of a record player than
yeah,
a digital recorder in your hand.
yeah, yeah,
And they'll come to that, and then of course you might get an AVP afterwards of something saying something, but they, I mean, trigger objects is one of the best things out there.
yeah, exactly. And you don't need a whole lot of money
No,
to spend on it. Like
no,
that's the one thing about it. Like
yeah,
you,
A lot of
yeah,
those YouTubers, though, will spend like thousands of dollars on one piece of equipment just for that. And it
yeah, but
just because it's thousands of dollars, I mean, it works better, especially trigger objects, just because, especially depending how old the spirit is, they might look at this piece of equipment, at the technology, and be like, what is this?
yeah,
hmm that's like like you said, when you have an audio recorder,
mm-hmm,
and I go into a place where they have no idea what that is,
mm-hmm,
and I tell them it's a toy.
mm-hmm,
If you say you work, you might come back on. It's a toy.
mm-hmm,
They could relate to more of it being a toy
mm-hmm,
than a piece of equipment.
mm-hmm.
Speaking to this audio recorder, they have no idea what an audio recorder is.
No, no,
So you consider it as something that they would respond to better. A toy.
yeah,
This is a
yeah,
toy. Can you use it? You
yeah,
know, and that's how you do it. On one place I went to, I was getting no evidence. It was It was, matter of fact, it was Letchworth, the hospital I told you about,
mm-hmm,
with the graves that they found
mm-hmm,
later on. And we're walking, and I have uh, K2, I had a Rampart, I had all these things with lights on and stuff. I'm
mm-hmm,
walking around, I was getting nothing. I said, wait a minute. These are patients that were abused and tortured pretty much by doctors, and
mm-hmm,
now they're left here. Let me get rid of this equipment. I'll just carry a recorder on me and see what we get, and maybe a camera. Have somebody at a distance.
mm-hmm.
To me, they seen those objects sliding up and all that stuff. They might have thought it was some kind of medical thing that's going to hurt them.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
they see you walking with all that in your hand. They're like, oh, we're staying what?
Nope.
After I did that, I seen shadows. We started hearing voices and stuff,
Mm-hmm,
because I guess they're more scared of me walking with these objects, thinking it might be
mm-hmm,
some kind of medical
mm-hmm.
thing to
Devices
hurt them.
hurt them. Yeah,
Yeah. So that's
and
what yeah.
yeah, and
So,
older spirits don't like cat balls. I mean, I had a spirit say, "Put that away. I don't want that." Okay, okay, I'll put it away. So I'm putting it away. I said, "Yeah, they don't like that. Okay, I just want to talk to you. Okay, okay, I'll talk to you. Like
mhm.
we won't carry anything around us. Like, don't worry about it. I'll just plain old talk to you, and yeah, we're okay."
The cat balls, that's a big thing over here now.
Yeah,
Everybody has cat ball. And
but
then they
you
put it
know,
down and ah, I don't know. You know,
yeah,
the cat ball might go off, and that's interesting how it goes off and stuff.
yeah. But I
You
mean,
know,
doesn't mean that it's a spirit that's gonna tug at her
mhm.
or play with it or even touch it. Right? It doesn't mean anything to me.
No,
So I just I'm kind of weird about that. Nah, I'm not gonna do that.
well, but pretty much all equipment and the other equipment we have doesn't
Yeah.
show there's a
No.
haunting somewhere.
No.
You know, you question why this go off. There's nothing in setting it off.
No.
You know, but you can't say, oh well, it's a haunting. Oh, my K2 went off. It's a haunting here.
No.
You know, so
Doesn't
it's
mean
not
anything.
equipment. You can have $1,000 worth of equipment. You still can't say this. You question why this went off. You try to find out. Well, it shouldn't have went off. I don't say it's haunted. I say it has activity.
Hmm.
You know. Now, if you go to a place and stuff's flying all over the place, yeah, I
Hmm.
think there's something going on there. It's a little
Yeah.
more haunting. But if
Yeah.
your K2 goes off or your rampart or
Yeah.
anything, I got this one at EDI
Hmm.
that has like a multi everything on there.
Hmm.
If stuff goes like that goes off, you're like, okay, what's setting up? And then you try to find out what set it off. But
Yeah.
you can't say it's a haunting.
Yeah. I got something that Eric was saying.
Oh, she
He
actually has
sent
on
me
this.
this. This is my REM pod. This is what he
That's a
sent to me.
rampart.
Yeah. Oh, the batteries are gone. But yeah, it beeps. It lights up, and it carries a 9 volt battery inside. So
Well,
yeah,
that's
he
interesting.
sent. Yeah. So he sent me this. This is one of Eric's creations that he made. So I bought that.
That's nice. I never seen one like that.
Yeah.
I got the round one and stuff like that.
Yeah. So he makes these. So I got those. There.
You know, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. But I don't carry equipment. I don't use equipment. I just use me, myself, and I. And a lot of people say, well, how do you know? I said, well, that's up to you. If you believe me, that's fine. If you don't believe me, that's fine too. Because
Hmm.
I just don't really have to show you what it is that I see. And yeah, it's either you see it or you don't. If you believe me, that's fine. If you don't believe me, that's fine too. I don't worry about it.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's the way that I usually do it. Okay. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
I
You're not there to prove it to anybody. They want to believe you, they
no.
believe you. They don't. Hey, well, who cares? You
Yeah.
know, I'm
Yeah.
to a point now that if people, and I never really argued with people. They always, oh, this ghost and stuff. Okay, this ghost, there's no ghost, and okay, prove it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want
Yeah.
me to prove that there's ghost, then prove me there's no ghost. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not
I
here to prove anything to you, and
no.
you're here not. You don't believe. You don't believe. I do.
That's
I do.
fine too. Right. That's fine too. Like
Yeah.
I don't worry about it. I don't worry about it. I had a lot of flack because they say, "Oh, there's nothing there." Especially paranormal group that said there's nothing there. I said, "Okay, that's fine. Yeah, you don't believe me. I don't give a rat's behind if you don't." That's the way that I said. And they said, "Mm." And so I said, "Bye." Like that. That's what I did.
Hmm.
There's one thing here that we don't have that you may have there. We don't have any estate jewelry. We don't have anything like that here. They don't sell anything like that here because anything that's from the family stays in the family, and you don't sell it.
Hmm.
Um,
Your jewelry.
or anything that somebody owned,
Hmm.
they don't sell it here because well, you know what, you're right.
Thrift stores only sell either like electronics or clothes. That's it.
Mugs or cups or stuff like that. Yeah,
Okay.
that's all.
So
They
it's
don't.
something the family can't sell jewelry of a deceased one.
No, no,
Wow. Okay. Over here
and
they sell
nobody will
everything.
buy it. Nobody will buy it either. They won't buy it because stuff like that. They're really superstitious here, so they'll say, "Yeah, that came from somebody else's house. Yeah, not buying it. Sorry.
It's not
And
just
if,
yeah. A lot of hauntings in America in the residentials end up because they bought something from either like a yard sale or
yeah.
Goodwill. It still had like the attachment to it. And there was one medium who went into a house and she said like this person was complaining there's so many hauntings. And she walked in there and she said there was 30 ghosts in this house. However, they weren't attached to the house or the land or any of the family members.
Mhm.
She looked around and each of them was attached to a different object.
Hmm.
Yes.
So she asked the owner, it's like, do you go to Goodwill? It turns out every object that had an attachment, she bought like at Goodwill because she collects things at there.
Hmm.
She's like, well, yeah, this is why you have this haunting. You're gonna have
Yeah.
to get rid of them.
Yeah.
I know a lot of haunted locations over here that every time somebody has some kind of object that they feel is haunted, they'll drop it off those locations.
Mm,
So they're adding whatever is attached to that object to the haunted location. Now that haunted location has another spirit that's part of it. You know,
yeah.
a lot of people donating different items to location. We just did on my podcast the Montgomery House in North Carolina with a couple of friends,
Mhm.
and um, they showed me pictures of it because I was in North Carolina. I didn't do investigation there, but they showed me pictures of it, and I looked at it, and I see the organ
Hmm.
there, and I just looking at the picture of the organ, and I seen like a old guy, like an Italian looking guy with the hat, the old mustache and stuff.
Hmm.
So I drew it. So when I came on the podcast, I showed it to the people, um, my guest, and they said that there is an attachment to the organ that's there. And I said the organ wasn't there, was it? And they go, no, the organ was donated, and that didn't have anything. That attachment came with the organ.
Mm,
It was put there, and they actually did EVPs by that organ, and
hmm.
they got responses from this guy
Hmm.
that's standing by the organ. So that was interesting. I had no idea about the organ, and
Mm,
there was somebody standing there. So the attachment came. These people donated the organ to the historic society. The
hmm.
historic society put it inside this building.
Mm.
The attachment came with it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's why, you gotta be careful. Like, if you're gonna give your jewelry that has grandma's jewelry, you gotta give it to your children to make sure it stays in the family. You
Hmm.
don't give it away. You don't sell it. Okay.
Hmm.
You gotta be really respectful to certain things that came with your family. So yeah, you just
I don't think most people know what that is besides our community. People in our
yeah.
community be like, "Oh, I got lucky." But
Well,
everyone else, I'd be like, "What?" Probably be like, "What is this?" Maybe
well,
not
Yeah.
electricians,
EMF meter is not only for paranormal.
but I was gonna say
Hmm.
electricians though too. I
I'm
think
a retired electrician. We used to use that on different, to see, like at the panel, if there's if extra EMF is coming out of the panel, because it's
Hmm.
it's just a magnetic field,
Yeah.
electromagnetic field. So you're seeing if it's coming out of the panel. Then if it's coming out of the panel, we got to find out maybe the panel's not grounded properly. So, but the EMF meter is
that's
not
where it
just
came from as the electricians.
yeah, it's like not just to do with paranormal. It was
Hmm.
there before the paranormal, and
Yeah.
it was used for other things also.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
not only just electricians, you got technicians, you got a lot of different people that actually use it as a tool
Hmm.
for their trade, and just it was picked up by the paranormal field.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, imagine like a K2, you're picking up a old K2 or a millimeter at a Goodwill.
Hmm.
That'd
I
be
mean, like
interesting.
I understand, I understand like the ones that we're used to seeing, but also like what Irene was holding in her hand, though, too. Like, can you imagine the fancy ones that they do make for paranormal, though?
Like a rampart or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you go into Goodwill, and but that'd be interesting too because if it's a paranormal investigator that passed away and his family donated it to Goodwill,
Hmm.
there still might be attachment on that.
Yeah.
That'd be
Definitely
interesting.
would be. I'd
Mm.
follow it just to see the kind of hoping it goes to another paranormal investigator. So I'd be like, cool,
Yeah.
I can still join you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 You know, that's it. I had a member of my team pass away a couple years ago,
Hmm.
and he was like my right hand man on my team. He built night vision lights for us, and he had
Hmm.
equipment and stuff. He passed away, and his wife gave me his equipment, some of his equipment, and we were at Burlington Prison with a bunch of our friends, and yeah, Jenny was there. Yeah, Chip, Chugu, yeah. And Jenny was there, and my friend Ron, and they were doing Ron Yacovetti and Lourdes Gonzalez. I do the thing called Staticom, like I started saying before. And before Joe passed, he had a bad heart, so he had a heart transplant. He was sick, so he was
Hmm.
telling me we made a cold word if either one of us die and we go on the other side, and we're on investigation, we want to reach out to them. What's the code word so we know it's them?
Hmm.
So we went to the investigation, and we're doing it. And I have his bag.
Hmm.
I had a couple of his speakers. I think I had his K2. I had a couple of his cameras and stuff in this bag. So we're asking. I said, and all of a sudden, Joey came up. I'm like, now it's got interesting because that's my friend's name. I said, Joey, is that you? What's our password? Our
Hmm.
password is White Castles,
Hmm.
and that came up.
Hmm.
White Castle came up,
Hmm.
and it was like, I have all his equipment here, and he's coming through. And
Hmm.
then I asked a couple other questions about his family and stuff, and he answered everything. And then he told me to F off. That's how I know it was him,
Hmm.
Joey. So I don't know if it was because the equipment was with us that he came through that night, or he just came through because, he's part of the team. So that was interesting because we did have his equipment. So maybe his came along with his equipment that night. Yeah. So that was
Can
Hmm.
you imagine, though, you pick up some paranormal investigator who passed away's equipment. They're
Hmm.
attached to it so they can still investigate. Anytime you go somewhere, especially when you turn on your recorder, they help you out. They can be like,
interesting.
yo, this owner's full of crap. The place is not haunted. I'm the only ghost here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, there is like three ghosts here. Anthony's pretty cool, but Frank's a jerk.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
they all hang out in the kitchen. They're not here. Move down the hall.
Go to the
Yeah.
kitchen. That's where they are.
I'll meet you there for the cannolis.
Yeah.
Leave me
But
out, cannoli.
they like to hang out in certain areas. Okay, dark ones like the bedroom. A lot of times they like the bathroom,
That's
or
what
they
I'd be
like the
wanting.
kitchen, or they like the kitchen. Right. A lot of times I find them in the bathroom, like in the mirrors in the bathroom. Yeah, okay, they'll hang out in the toilet. Okay, like
Oh,
really.
goodness.
Oh,
I
Debbie.
will
Yeah.
be haunting everyone. You go investigation, I'll be there. You need evidence, I'll throw stuff.
Yeah. That's what I would do. I was like, I'll be going to people like new people, and they were like, is somebody here? Yes or no? Yeah, cold words cannoli. That's Jenny and my cold word. Make it happen to us. Cannoli. Um, it's like, is anybody here? One for yes, two for no, and then you hit no. It's like hit it twice, and they're like, but how? Who's hitting it if there's nobody here? It's like you're
Yeah,
hitting no. It's like I'd
You're
be
the
messing with
manager.
everybody.
or saying get lost, right?
Yeah, get out right now. Yeah.
I usually get told like F off. Like I get that a lot of times when I'm doing something. Go,
Mhm.
yeah, okay, you told me to do that once or twice. You know, it worked once, it doesn't work twice. Okay, you heard that 3 times. Like, yeah, sorry, that doesn't work with me. Like,
Yeah. But I mean, that'd be interesting with the. Yeah. Like Jenny was telling, so I seen her before. I guess we're going to be taking go road trip to a Goodwill.
oh, okay.
Because see if they got any equipment there.
I can just see you haunting me in a place, Anthony, where it's like, anyone here want to talk to us? No, you don't like cannolis. Leave.
Yeah, no.
Like,
Is anybody here? They here. How you doing?
Wow.
Why are you here? Ah, forget about it. Hey,
Yeah,
like,
that'd be my EVPs after I
like,
die.
what do you want?
Yeah.
Like, don't bother me. Like, I'm taking a shower, okay? Leave
Are
me
you a
alone.
real investigator or are you a Fungazi?
Yeah. Oh,
I
that'd be
didn't
interesting.
invite you here.
Yeah, like you know, like,
So,
you forgot the beer or you forgot the whiskey.
yeah. Hey, you forgot the cannolis.
Yeah.
Come
Leave the
back with
gun. Take the
cannolis.
cannolis.
It's gonna be reviewed. That place is gonna be reviewed. Yeah, for some odd reason, everyone's gonna say the ghost keeps asking for cannolis. Please, just bring cannolis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll leave you alone if you bring him a cannoli. Hey,
Yeah.
forget about it.
I promise I'm not gonna scratch you. Bring the clothes, okay? Yeah.
You want better evidence? Bring cannolis.
Yeah.
Yeah. The more cannolis you met, hey, you get more information. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Always
Exactly.
as a
Cannolis
trigger
for
object.
yeah, that would be his.
Yeah.
Now he wants cannoli. Hey.
Yeah, that sounds good. Wonder what we can get. Where can we get cannolis here in Japan, Amanda?
I have not seen cannolis, and I'm like,
I
man,
haven't seen one either. Dang.
You know,
I
yeah.
haven't I haven't even seen a soft pretzel either.
no.
Oh man, this is it's like everything here is like a walk for me. I just have to take a walk down the block. Everything is right. Yeah.
I, you know, dang.
Yeah, Jenny in the audience knows me pretty well.
Like,
Real Italian food.
Matter of fact, when we went to Gettysburg, she was there. I told you her room was haunted. And she brought me 6 cannolis. Nice, huge cannolis. It was like, ah. People come and see me now and say, here's a cannoli. I'm like, this is great. You know, it's like, hey,
It's amazing we notice something like people just bring you cannolis.
yeah. They bring me cannolis. They bring me shirts, say, forget about it. Or like Jenny got me a pen that says, how you doing? And, you know, I get all these little treats from these people. It's great. It makes me feel good. You know?
mm,
Makes it like I'm making a difference.
now I'm getting hungry. Darn it.
Yeah, we don't have. That's one thing I do miss is real Italian food. For some odd
No,
reason, when I first moved here, people kept sending me pictures when they'd go eat Japanese food, and I'm like, this. You realize I'm in Japan. I can go out and get something better for cheaper. I don't
Yeah,
yeah.
understand
you
why
like
people keep sending me pictures of. Look at my Japanese food. Yeah, okay. Compared to what I can get, that doesn't make sense. I'm like, send me pictures of other food. Then I
Yeah.
get jealous because you can't really get other food here,
No,
obviously. I'm like,
cheeseburgers and stuff like that. No.
not
we get,
not like American burgers. They're different here.
yeah. Onion rings are really rare. Uh, good pizzas are really rare to find too. Mexican food, forget it, you can't find it.
No, yeah, not. I was gonna say we don't have Mexican food. We don't have real Italian food.
No.
And I was like, send me other pictures of that. Then I get jealous. Have
Yeah.
you been to the baked goods? Because baked goods are different here too. I
Yep.
can't go out just go out and buy a cookie. I can't buy like an American cupcake. We don't have that here.
No.
So I'm in the middle of Queens, New York over here, and I got everything,
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that.
everything,
Like
everything
I
you're
went
saying.
to
I
you.
have, and I mean, and the best part about it, I can sit home and they deliver it to me. I have sushi delivered to me all the time, or the Chinese food. Of course, pizza is the big thing in this house. You know,
Mm,
and
I
all
love a
that
good
stuff I can
pizza.
have delivered. Huh?
I love a good pizza. Like we
Yeah,
don't.
yeah.
It,
See, look at it, Jenny. It's turning into talking about food again.
of course,
Yes,
of
well, you
course.
me. Hey, what do you think? How I got this belly from?
The
I
only
know my
pizza,
foods.
the only pizza we have here where I am is Domino's. So I
Domino's.
mean, real Italian pizza. Oh, I missed that.
Yeah,
Mm, yeah,
I got Pizza Hut, Domino's, and that's about it. Like that's about all we got here.
those are good for quickies.
I
Yeah,
know. I know.
that's
But
like I'm in the middle of Queens. They say Queens has like one person from every country in the world.
mm,
There's multi languages spoken here and everything. So,
yeah.
and they bring their foods. I get to try everything. I try. Yeah, forget about it. This is how you spell forget about it. Yeah, this is the right way.
I like that.
Forget about it.
I might have to find
Hi,
that shirt on.
William.
There's,
Might have
there's
to find that
there's no
shirt on Etsy.
T's. Well, the
Yeah.
T's are on it. Forget about it. You know, but it's but it's funny because before we go on an investigation, we all get together and we sit in a diner or some kind
hmm
of place and we eat before we go.
hmm
It's like a big thing. It's like sit down, you eat with your team, and then you go on the investigation. You know, so that's See, I told you I could talk a lot.
So can we?
So he's like, "How long can you talk? Well, how long you got?"
That's what we are. Like you're not entertaining, we'll be entertaining
Yeah.
together. No
Mhm.
matter.
And our conversations are not always one thing. Like we go off subject all the time. Like, yeah.
We just went through a whole subject about food.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I hate it when people say before they come on the podcast, they're like, "What are we gonna talk about?" I don't know.
That's
Whatever comes up, man. Really, we
It's
don't.
like,
We never pre-plan it. We never
like
have.
we never will.
We
We
don't
talk
ever
about
want to. We had someone try to do pre-planned and want pre-approved questions, and I'm like, we can't do that because unfortunately, your answers are going to trigger other questions. So I
yeah.
can't only have a list because first of all, if someone else asks a question, is it not going to get answered? Second of all, like I said, your answers are going to trigger other questions that
Mhm.
Yeah.
we're like, crap, I can't ask that. It's not on my list of questions.
And like the especially on the thread when we go live, like you
Mhm.
can't control what the questions they ask. Like you
Mhm.
can't say, well, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that, you can't talk about that. You can't do that, right? It doesn't work like that. Okay.
No,
Like
I mean,
there's
Yeah.
gonna be people gonna talk about whatever,
mhm.
right? And like you may not like it, whatever. Like we try to filter as much as we can about it, but I mean, if it's gonna be something that they want to know or it's gonna be informative to them, of course they're gonna ask you questions. Of course
Mhm.
you're gonna try to answer it as well as you can, right? But
Mhm.
you can't you can't say no, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that, we're gonna talk about this only. No, we don't do that.
Mhm.
And we never have done that, and we would even dream about doing that, right, Amanda? We just like you see, she's going like, no.
I gotta get you guys on my podcast on Tuesday
Oh,
night.
that'd be fun, that'd
You
be
get you
great.
on there, and especially about the suicide the thing we do like history and paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
So we get the history of things and talk
Mm-hmm.
then to talk about the paranormal part of it. And you have you guys on the show, it'd be great.
Because
Talking about the stuff in
what I'll
Japan.
do is I'll send Amanda the pictures and she'll send it to you.
Yeah. And if I see anything, I'll draw it. And then
Mm-hmm.
when we get into the podcast, I have a psychic on my team,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Kim, and she does history. She's a history psychic. She looks at the land and she could tell you what happens there, and
Mm-hmm.
she's so on. I mean, then I'll send her the pictures, and then we have. Would you guys may be able to make it at 8 o'clock at night? Well, 8 o'clock my time. That's what
That's
your
9
time.
a.m. for us. Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah,
9 a.m. for
that's
us.
not bad. We're pretty good.
Yeah, so it's Tuesday nights. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
we're
I see
cool.
there's some dates. I think we're booked up to like starting in January now. So definitely. Yeah, we had it booked
We
up.
were like that at one point, where people would try to reschedule, and I'm like, it's gonna be a while.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think we're into. I think we're into. Oh, November now, aren't we? No, I
Oh,
think we're.
well, yeah, it's going towards the end of October.
yeah. We just started out the new podcast. So I was on another one, and I end up leaving that one. We started a new one, and it's called the Seekers Chronicles
Mhm.
Paranormal Historians,
Mhm.
and we just did our third one on Tuesday night,
Mm.
our third episode. Now we're going, fourth, and we have people that are coming on the show and a lot of history, and
Mhm.
and what we do is try to get the we focus on places also that needs to be have people start going there and donating money or just
Mhm.
because these places are falling apart, a lot of the old buildings,
Yeah.
and we're a lot of times we're the first investigations in. So that'd be great if we get you guys there to talk about that. That'd be awesome to talk about
Yeah.
the suicide waterfall. Oh, I never heard of it. That'd be a
Oh no,
awesome
it's
thing.
nobody knows about it in America.
Is it a
It's
secret that
not.
if we get told over here, you
It's
know?
so here in Japan, a lot of the we like I said, we have a lot of urban legends. We also have a lot of
Yeah.
like ghost stories, but they're mostly passed down through like the elders in the
Mhm.
community.
Mhm.
It's not we don't have we don't have records. We don't have vital records. You can't go
No.
even to the library to research anything. You actually have
Mhm.
to ask. It's usually the older generation that will know and tell stories.
Mhm.
Younger
Yeah.
generation is at that point where they just don't care.
And if you try to find something on Google, they'll tell you about a paragraph, and that's it. It's
If
okay.
if that on some things. Like I said, sometimes it's here's a location and what this looks like. Good luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
And then when she wants to find out something, because her Google and my Google are totally different, right? My Google has a lot of Japanese content, and her Google only has like this much, and they won't tell her
Yeah, 'cause
anything.
I
I said,
have mine on English, so it's just like, well, here's the English version, and then Irene looks it up and translates hers. So sometimes she has stuff that I don't, and I'm like, this is weird. Like this,
like our Googles
how
are
is
different, right?
our Googles will say different things sometimes, and I'm like, because she'll send me a website, and I'm like, yeah, Irene, I was just looking at that, but then I actually look at what she sent me, and I'm like, wait a minute. Why does yours? It looks the same, but why does yours have some different information?
Yeah,
that's wow.
it's just
Now
totally
he
different.
is William. They do think Godzilla was real, so
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's pretty cool.
yeah.
You know,
There's a lot of weird places here. There's a lot of like Japan is one live volcano. Okay, there's a whole bunch of live volcanoes all over the place. There's a whole bunch of live volcanoes they're spitting right now. There they got lava in the ocean. Yeah, it's it's a really weird. I don't know place. People ask me, why do you want to? Why do you move to volcanic island? Because it's my home. Okay, I like it here. It's warmer here. Okay, I don't get cold. Okay, but yeah, I mean, it's just it's got a different vibe. It's got a different atmosphere. Um, Sometimes certain times of the year you can feel it's really heavy. certain times of field you can feel the air is a little bit crazy. Yeah, but I like it here.
That's all you need. If you want to be there, that's awesome.
It's
You know,
home, it's home,
yeah, it's
okay?
home. It's home to you.
Yeah.
It's what yeah, that'd be great. I'm gonna sit down. I'll sit down and Jenny and Kim's on my show. We'll see if we get you a date to come in January if you're interested.
No, yeah, we
Oh, that'd
definitely
be
are.
great. That'd be
Yeah.
great.
And you
Yeah.
can send us the pictures, and then we'll do it from there, and that'd be awesome.
I'll
Yeah,
have to
that'd be
also send pictures of the bay behind me because I'm sure, and Irene can
yeah.
also tell you
What
things
Oh
happen
yeah.
there. So Kim would have a heyday with that too.
what building behind you?
I have Saspel Bay right behind me, which is like a
Oh, the
Navy
bay.
port, but it's been here since like 17 something. So, but there's other things that obviously happen in the bay too.
Oh, it's got its own little portal thingamajigger going on with that one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a 2 hour show, and it'd be awesome, and we'll do your thing and have Kim read whatever she sets out of it. I'll draw
Hmm.
what I could get out of it, and we'll just do some history on it and talk about it. I mean, that's wild.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Jenny, is that okay with you? She's in the audience. Jenny, yes, no, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
yeah.
I try to
I
invite some
can't
people.
send you cannolis. We don't have any. So,
No, we don't have cannolis. We don't even have soft pretzels here. We don't have anything like that here.
I like raw fish, so I'm a sushi eater. So you
oh,
just
I'm
make
not gonna
it.
send you raw
Oh,
fish. That'd be disgusting by the time it got to you.
well, you know what? If you come, I'll make you some sushi, okay?
Oh, okay. Now I got a
Oh,
reason
that
to
is
go.
one thing you'll have to come to Japan for is sushi is the conveyor belt sushi restaurants.
Yeah.
No, we do have them here,
I got one down the
but
street
it's
from
probably
me.
nothing like your guys.
It's
But
nothing like
No,
yeah. Here, the one thing I love here is anything you eat is caught that morning. If they didn't catch enough, you're not gonna. Yeah,
no,
they
really,
won't sell it. If they
yeah,
did not catch it that morning, they won't sell it.
no.
oh
And they
wow, that's
have
awesome.
they have a certain time limit when it's on the conveyor belt. They're only allowed to have it on a certain time. After that, they dump it.
Really?
Yeah, so they're constantly out there fishing. That's how fresh it is. It was
Yeah.
literally caught right before you ate it.
Even
That's
even
that's why a lot of
even
people
if you
say even like the worst sushi place here is still better than the best over there because people
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
I ate sushi in Japan, then I
Mhm,
went to my favorite sushi restaurant in my hometown, and I used to love it. Then after tasting it in Japan, I'm like, ew. I'm like,
mhm,
Yeah.
they're like, I can't eat it after being in Japan
Yeah.
because it's
mhm.
Japan will ruin sushi for you in the
Yeah.
states.
It's like It's like in Italy.
Hmm.
The same
Yeah,
thing. You have food there, then you come back here. It's like
Yeah.
you know.
Even the sandwiches in the convenience store, they have a time limit when it was made, what time that they're supposed to be selling it at, and if it's beyond that time, they throw it out in the garbage.
I
Wow.
I get what Anthony is saying because my grandparents came from Italy, so my
Hmm.
grandma would used to spend a good amount of time making spaghetti,
Mhm.
Hmm.
and then eating her spaghetti, and then going to like even a 5-star Italian restaurant, you order
Yeah.
their spaghetti. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, this is delicious," and I'm like, "Ugh, what a disappointment!" It's such a
Mhm.
disappointment after even eating
Mhm.
something a real Italian made, not even just being in
Mhm.
Italy, but something a real Italian made over
Yeah,
here.
my grandmother's like that. You eat their food, and then you know, and she's like the best meatballs. You never tasted meatballs like what my grandmother made, and now it's like you can't even duplicate it. And she went to her grave with the meatball recipe.
Dang.
Well, it's because like they're usually like really old-fashioned recipes. Then you come here, and I don't know what they do, but it's
But
just
they use a lot of lard
Hmm.
yeah,
instead of
they
olive
don't
oil
do
and
that
stuff.
in
They
Italy.
do lard.
Mostly, yeah,
I
in
remember my
Italy.
grandma scooping the lard out of the Crisco thing, and then they saved the oil for next time, and they use the same thing because they say season now.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
The paranormal white
White
witch,
witch. Mm.
little white witch. Where they at? Where you out of white witch?
uh,
Well, yeah. So
I gotta heat up.
she's getting numb over there.
No, no, no. I mean, I notice certain times when we talk about paranormal stuff, my equipment gets really hot, so I have to
Ooh,
bring out some ice
Oh,
to
really?
cool it down because I'm gonna go black. It's gonna go black on me, and that always happens to me. So I always
Oh,
have to keep dry ice in my freezer because I'm gonna lose everything.
oh wow.
Yeah, it
Okay.
depends on how bad it is. Sometimes it's really bad. Sometimes it's not so
So
bad.
you affect electronics
Yeah,
when you start. You affect it when your energy starts.
yeah, and
Mhm.
that's why you don't see me wearing a wristwatch because the battery just drains on me. I can't wear one.
Oh,
I just can't wear anything like that. So yeah, I have to. I have to use my phone if I'm gonna use a, anything that has a clock on it. It just yeah. So now I have to put cold ice on here, so keep my
it's
my
okay.
my equipment cold because I can feel it. It's just going really weird on me.
Okay.
Because I lose everything. I even I even I even I even got kicked out so many times of this of our podcast. Like
I'm
okay.
used to it. There's times where I'm in the middle of a story, Irene gets picked out, and I guess it's like, oh, and I'm still continuing the story. They're like, wait, you're not concerned about Irene? Yeah, she'll be back, and then also she pops back on. I'm like, oh, you're right. I'm like, yeah, we're used to it. She'll be back. She'll be back.
Sometimes it's so bad I can't come back, and I have to message her. I said, "Yeah, I can't come back. Like, let's end it." And she goes, "Okay." It'll kick me out for good, and I just can't get back on StreamYard. I said, "Yeah, it's not gonna let me get back on Stream." I said, "Okay, you guys gotta cut it out, okay?" In order for me to come back, and yeah, it happens like that. Sometimes 2 or 3 times I get kicked out all the time, and I go, "Okay, yeah, you guys gotta stop it, okay? Leave me alone. Let me do this." Yeah, it's just something I'm so used to it, right?
Yeah. When you were in America, what locations have you done?
See, I did a lot because like growing up, I lived in growing up. I grew up in Michigan. Then I went to Montana for a few years, and then a little bit in about the Scottsdale, Phoenix area in Arizona, and then for about 10 years, I lived in the Charlotte area before I finally came to Japan.
So any locations that you did there that are memorable or
There
investigation?
is there is a in South Carolina. There is a haunted jail where they also have like Civil War. Um,
Is it called the old jail?
it is well,
Old
it's
house?
not one of the bigger known jails, but that's also why I went there because it's also a Civil War museum,
Hmm.
but it's also an old jail where a lot of violent things happen. But as a woman, you're more safe just because like the men kind of had a they're not gonna really hurt the women. They
Mm,
may, I mean, they I heard a lot of footsteps there. Saw a lot of, there are a lot of shadow figures kind of going in and out. A lot of faces. It's kind of like you'll hear noise and also you see like a face looking at you. There was an inmate where you'll hear him, and his name was Billy. He had his own cell where he even wrote his name on the cell. So they call it like Billy's cell. That's one of the more haunted locations there. Chester, 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 Chester County, I think it's called. I had to
Chester?
look it up. Yeah. Some of the not so bigger places tend to be more haunted, though.
Mhm.
Mm.
And I think a lot of people is like, well, I think it's because like with the bigger locations, they're
Mhm.
used to all the time people coming in
Mhm.
asking the same question, so they get tired. Now some known places are like, oh, someone to talk to. Let me go bother this person.
Mm.
But there is also a place in near Charlotte. I used to try teams, or try different teams to see if we mesh well, or
Mhm.
even to train new people, because it's a safer it's extremely active, but none of the spirits in there were violent. So
Mm.
even if I had to sit in a room alone, or even sit in a building alone, I felt safe. So
Mhm.
if someone, like, if I was in a basement and someone had to run upstairs, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you left her by herself." People are freaking out. I'm like, they come down to check on me, and I'm calm. I'm like, "Well, yeah, because there's nothing violent here. Yeah, there's
Mhm.
Mm.
spirits, but I don't feel unsafe." And usually, if there was a bad spirit, I'd feel it, and I don't.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a lot of locations. You could tell if you go there if it's going to be bad or not. If you go
Yeah,
in and you can feel just in the walking into the place if something's going to happen or not.
especially the
Mhm.
longer the longer you've done this, even if you're not sensitive, people are like, you get to the point where you
Mhm.
can just feel it still.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
It's it. It's like I've been to so many different places through the years, and I mean, now you can feel things and see things and hear things better. Now,
Mhm.
I guess I got more used to it,
Mhm. Yeah.
and it doesn't phase me as much as you know, something boom behind you fall, and you'd be like, before you'd be like, what was that?
Yeah.
Now it's like, boom, okay, and then you turn around and it's like, is anything there? Hello,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So you,
There's one place that I want to go back to again. Like I got really freaked out at Pearl Harbor, and I nearly got yanked in the water. But I want to go back there. I want to feel what I felt back then, what I know now,
yeah, yeah.
and because I'm Japanese, I think it wanted to yank me more in the water than if I were an American. I don't think they would do that to them, but I think they tried to do that to me. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
one
it's
place I
because
want to.
spirits still feel a certain way. So if you're going somewhere that it happened
Yeah,
because the Japanese
Mm-hmm.
attacked
yeah,
and that was
uh,
your enemy, and you look up and you see Irene's Japanese face looking at you,
Mm-hmm.
they're
Oh,
good.
you're like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's what happened to her. They
go
tried to
up and
drag
grab
her
you by
down
the
with
face,
them.
say, "You're with us." You'll be like,
yeah.
Yeah,
"Oh,
they tried doing that to
I
her.
felt this being pulled on my
really?"
neck. Uh, I did freak out, but I felt like I was being pulled in a trance where I didn't know anything and I didn't see anything. I know this naval officer was looking at me, and he looked at me and he was trying to make sure I wasn't falling in the water, right? But yeah, that's one place I want to go back to again. That's one place I want to feel it again because I wasn't scared. I was really calm, and it was a beautiful sunny day, and yeah, I want to feel that again because I
Mhm.
think that to me it was amazing. It was really cool. And not in the right way, right?
It's like you're like, no, but this is cool.
Yeah, it is. Like when you see that, yeah, I think for me, they're saying, "Oh, you're crazy, right?" And I said, "No, yeah, I kind of am. I kind of am crazy, right?"
But it's what do you call it? Um, it's if you had the equipment there, you'd be like, record this, record.
If
Yeah,
you just when you're on vacation, you kind of never thought about that. Nowadays, you're looking
I
back at
do.
it. Yeah, I'd go back, but now I'm gonna be prepared with equipment.
yeah.
When I go on vacation, I got stuff with me. I got a bug out bag. So if I want to go, I just pick it up. Everything's in the bag. Let's go.
Yeah. Like back then, I was only 25 years old. Okay, compared to how old I am now. Anyways, like I think you and me are almost the same age. Like right?
Well, I'm 62.
Oh, I'm 61.
So we're the same age, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, you're younger. You're younger than me. See?
I was gonna say Irene's bragging that she's younger though.
You're younger.
no,
You're
I'm
younger lady.
not.
You're young. Younger woman.
But I mean, back then I was only 25 years old. I knew I had it, but I really didn't use it.
Hmm.
Eh, like like, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I want to go back. I want to feel what I felt back then, and
Hmm.
it's got to be something cool from you. It's for me. It's really wow. Okay, let's do it again.
Yeah, I mean, that's. Remember those some of those ships are like actual coffins.
Right? Exactly.
There's still sailors down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
They
went.
cracked and left.
I went to a history museum. They brought those artifacts from the Japanese Yamato battleship where Americans bombed and it's under the ocean, right? They brought
Mhm.
up the artifacts from the ocean. I said, my husband was walking through it like he's dense, okay? He doesn't feel anything. I said, do we have to walk here through here? And I was crying my eyes out. I said, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And they had a picture of this sailor, his and all of this clothes that he wore, and I said, "Oh shit, we're gonna do this again." I said, "Nah, I'm not doing." My husband, see, this isn't as cool. I said, "Yeah, okay, I don't." Like, when are we gonna leave? Like, please, no. and like, and I had to, and they had seats out in the middle of outside the museum, and he said, "What are you doing sitting here?" I said, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm good." Like I see all these soldiers, I see all these sailors talking to me through the picture. I said, "Do we have to do this? Do we have to do this? Do we have to do this? I don't want to do this anymore. Please let me just sit down." And this museum is next to port where they made battleships. And yeah, it's a sunken battleship. And the real crazy, stupid thing that I saw was in the display case, they had a doll. I said, now the doll's haunted, okay? Because the artifacts from the museum they brought up from the ocean was haunted. So the doll's haunted. I said, crud. I said, crud like this. And I started running out of there. I ran out as fast as I could. I said, not doing this. Like, even though I could have, I said, no, I'm not doing this. And all of a sudden, I started feeling like, oh, my back hurts, oh, my legs hurts, oh, my knees hurts, oh, everything hurts, oh, my neck hurts, oh, I can't breathe. And I started feeling the effects of how they felt. And I said, yeah, I mean, I gotta go and have a cup of coffee.
Coffee grounds you there.
Oh, God. Because I said, yeah, we're not gonna do this, okay? I said that we're not gonna do this, okay, today. I'm just walking here around here as a tourist, okay? And they said, no, 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 you gotta hear what happened to me. God, like this and this happened to me. I said, okay, I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear it. Like you, for me, I hear everything. And I
Mhm.
said, no, I'm not gonna do this. Not gonna do this. Please don't do this. Yeah, it was pretty bad. We spent 4 hours there. I said, can we go now, please? He goes, I said, no, I like this place. This is interesting. He said, no, it isn't. And I hate
Affected
that.
differently.
I hate that when they bring up stuff in the water, especially if it was bombed and it becomes haunted, right?
Yeah, of course. Something's
Mm,
going to attach to it.
especially like the other one from the Titanic, right? The meaning museum. Of course it's haunted, right? Of course.
There's going to be something, some sort of activity
Yeah,
going on.
think, right?
Mhm. So, and the people, those items they brought up, some of those people actually died.
Yeah, and then and then I heard that there are fingerprints on the glass. That happens because there are children who died, and yeah, there's spiritual with that objects, and yeah, you think. I know it's interesting. I know it's something that we could learn, right? But yeah, I mean, I mean, yeah, not cool. Like, especially for us, if we can feel it, we can see it. For us, it's different. For the regular folk there, like, yeah, they don't know, right? Okay, they're gonna say, "Oh, that's cool, that's cool," and for us to say, "Nah." For us to say, "No, we can see it, we can feel it. I don't want to go there." I'm like, mm-mm. Especially there's a museum where Amanda is. Like, she lives not too far from Nagasaki atomic bomb museum, and
Yeah.
that's one of the worst places you if you can feel it, you don't want to go. I went there with my kids, and I got really sick. I mean, I got so sick to my stomach, I had to lay down, and I was running to the bathroom to using the facilities all the time because it like, yeah, it was pretty bad. And my husband said, "That's not haunted, the building." I said, "Oh yeah, you want to go bet it's haunted?" And they have all kinds of stuff that they brought that were melted from the atomic bomb, like plastic stuff and doorbells and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
when you go in there, the air is different. And they made replica places of the walls and stuff like that. And they had all these other objects that they brought in. They had books and everything else like that. I said, mm. And then I was gonna buy something. I said, no, I don't think I'm gonna buy anything there. Nope, because whatever's in there should stay in there. It should come home with me. So I didn't buy anything. I just, yeah, I had trouble. Like, we stayed there for 4 hours. I said, "Can we leave?" Like, I don't feel good. Like, I was turning green. I was turning white and green and all the colors of the rainbow. I said, "Geez, I don't feel good." And my son saw me. He said, "You're okay?" I said, "No, I don't. I'm not okay. I'm sorry." They have letters in there of doctors. They have pictures of patients who were burnt, and oh, it was just one horrific, terrible place that you don't want to go. And yeah, you have to have a good constitution. You better not be a feely, touchy feely person if you're gonna go there, because it's gonna bug you. And it depends on how bad you feel it and how bad you see it. It's gonna hit you like a ton of bricks, and you don't like. I said, "Let's get out of here really quick." So as soon as I left, I was okay. But when you're inside, it's a whole different ball game.
Yes, sir.
Places like that are really horrible haunted. And where she is from, the first um Dutch ship, the first Spanish ship came, and they traded with they tried trading with Japan, and that's the first place where the boat where the ships came to. And they have a lot of uh shall we say, things that you don't want to talk about. Like, they had the first Christians came to Nagasaki, and the first priests, the first brothers came to there. So um they crucified the priests and the 24 Christians who follow them on a cross. So you want to practice your by God, you're gonna die like Jesus Christ. So they crucified them to the cross alive.
Oh wow.
Yeah, until their bodies rotted on the cross. And the brothers that they saved the bones, and they're in the church in Nagasaki, and they're preserved in. I got a picture of that one too. Ooh, I know I was supposed to take, but I took one anyway. I don't care. It's part of history, okay? Yeah, and it's freaky, creepy too. So yeah, they have the places like that in Kyoto too, where they crucified the Christians in Kyoto also, and it's in a hill, and it's boarded off, so you can't go in there. but it's really haunted too. That one is really freaky haunted.
Yes.
And in order to appease the Christians who died, who were crucified, they tried to bring in some statues of Mother Mary and Jesus Christ, and the hands and the eyes bleed blood.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's not too far away from the shrine that they build next to it there on that same area to appease the dead also. So yeah, go figure, right?
That's. I mean, you got a lot of stuff there that can be haunted.
It is extremely haunted. That's why they put "Do not enter." I even showed the picture to Amanda when she went to Kyoto. I said, "Yeah, this is the place. This is the area, and this is the map of it." And I don't even think you even went there, didn't you?
No, we weren't able to go there because we weren't there. We tried to
Yeah,
cram so much stuff into like a week.
but
So
it's in the middle of this town, and they've got signs up there, "Do not enter," and it's extremely haunted.
No. Wow.
So it's a part of history, right?
Yeah.
And it's not
Yeah,
recommending.
they warning you not to go there because it's haunted.
Yeah, it's really creepy, crazy, haunted. And there's a there's a medium who I know who did a TV program, and he talks about stories about haunted things. And he went there with a couple of people, and you could hear voices, you could hear things crack, you could hear rustling in the wind. It was just like really creepy, crazy stuff happened. There's a lot of things that happen in this country that nobody wants to talk about, right?
Well, we get you on our podcast. You can talk about it.
Yeah, that's why I only went this far with you. Okay, we'll talk about more later on. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah. Well,
Irene,
they
is there besides here in Japan, besides building a shrine, is there other ways to appease the dead, or is that basically it?
uh sake is usually used to purify. So if you have something that came in your house, you get rid of it and you drink sake to end the the thing that came in your house. They don't believe in crossing it over, so they kick it out instead. Me, I'm the other way around. I believe in crossing it over and bring it so they can have peace. But here they don't do that.
Yeah,
Uh,
there. I mean, if you have items, though, I know there is shrines that will, especially ones with like, or yeah, shrines that have that just they have like a priest or something there.
they
They
burn
have
it.
some ritual where they burn it because I know there's the one I just recently. You saw the pictures on my Facebook, Irene, of the shrine I just recently went to.
Mm-hmm.
They have a ceremony where they burn things, but if you also
Yeah.
can't go there and drop it off, I can go on the
Mm-hmm.
website, order some certain whatever size box I need or
Mm-hmm.
boxes,
Mm-hmm.
have it sent to me, put the items in there, and have it sent to them where they can include that in the burning ritual. So if
Yeah.
they burn,
And they have a priest there who will bless the items and have a big controlled fire in a wooden square box thing, and they'll set it on fire, and they'll give it back to the earth.
hmm.
There's a lot of places where you like sometimes people say, well, you could pour sake on on a headstone in Japan. No, you don't. You only pour water. You don't pour sake on it. Um, sometimes you don't. There's things that you can't do and can do. You have to be careful of what you do, how you do it. It's like there's a whole set of rules when you come to this country, when you live here. Like I imagine too. I got them down in my head, right? Ooh. Even when you eat, you have a set of rules when you eat. How you eat. You
Really?
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you gotta step away or put your food down or whatever for a moment, you don't leave the chopsticks in your food because that's you offering it to the dead.
Yeah. That's the only time when you give it to the funeral, right? And you
Yeah,
feed the dead. You also give the dead something to drink. Even a pet who died, you make sure you wet the lips of your pet and of the person who died, so they can, when they go to heaven, they won't be so thirsty, because they walk along the river to go to heaven, and it's grueling. It's hard, and you want to make sure they have something to drink.
Hmm.
It's just a I think they appease the dead more here than they do anywhere else, right?
I know the cemeteries over here. There's Chinese type of cemeteries, and certain times of year they actually leave food on the graves.
Yeah,
they do that here in Japan too.
Do they?
yeah. That's on my birthday. Would you believe?
The Day of the
So
Dead is in July here. July
yeah,
is the more haunted month in Japan than October.
yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Like the only
Uh,
reason why Halloween has recently even come to Japan, it's mostly celebrated in Tokyo and Osaka, not the way America does, but more of the drinking and partying. But the only
mhm,
reason why they even have somewhat a Halloween up in those two places, it's because in Tokyo it was the Tokyo Disney that brought it. Then in
mhm,
Osaka they have the Universal Studios Japan.
mhm,
So
Okay.
obviously those two things being tourist locations, they do like a Halloween thing at those two amusement parks. That's why it's mostly celebrated
mhm,
in. That's why it's mostly celebrated now in like in Tokyo and Osaka compared to
mhm,
unfortunately not trick or treating or not. You can't go out and buy like spooky decor or anything, or
mhm,
as I call it, new home decor. But it's because they just the two things of Japan they love to do is dress up and drink. So when they
mhm.
found out there's a holiday where you can dress up and drink, that's the part of the Halloween that they took was I'm gonna dress up and party.
Yeah.
Okay. Means there's something
Christmas,
over there they like of us.
Yeah.
Christmas
You're like, wait, I
time
can dress
too.
up and drink? Yeah, okay, let's do this.
Hey, yeah, I'm all for that.
Christmas time.
That's the part they took.
Christmas time too. They dress up. They they go out and they see illuminations in certain parks. They have a big, huge thing where they light up the park and they light up certain areas in Tokyo.
I think
Um,
that's what mostly
and
celebrates it though,
yeah,
is the two amusement parks.
yeah.
Besides the big party and that the big intersect what are that big intersection? The big
Um,
party there though. Like I said, they
yeah.
just dress up and drink.
Hmm.
Shibuya Crossing.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, yeah. But it's cold. It's cold in the wintertime. I don't know why you would want to
Yeah,
do
but
that.
they're drinking. You think they care?
Jeez.
Oh my god, Rainy, you forget they're out there drinking.
Uh, it's freezing cold. You gotta have your woolly underwear when you do that.
Long Johns.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's cold where she is because she's next to the um Japan seaside, right? Because her place is near the water, and you get the yeah, it's you get the cold wind from the ocean air, and it's really cold. I mean, man, it's cold on her side, and houses don't have heating here, right? So it gets really cold in the wintertime.
There's no heating.
No, we don't have central heating here.
Central AC or central heating, no.
No,
Really?
no, it's cold. It is cold. It's either really cold or really hot, right?
Oh
Uh,
wow.
Summertime, she's baking. I'm going. We
Mhm.
do our podcast, and that's what we're like, like we're going. Yeah, can't do this. Can't do this. Can't do this. Like, we're just dying of heat because it's so hot here. Like it. You haven't seen the word hot when you come here. Yeah, it's like swamp ass times three, right? It's really bad in the summertime. It's so hot. You can't sit in one spot. Like it's just you'd rather stick your head in the deep freeze or the freezer or the refrigerator because you can't survive because it's so darn hot. Like it's really bad. Like right now, I'm boiling. Right, I'm baking right now.
It's
It's
53
for me.
degrees here, and I got my air conditioner on right now.
Uh, uh, like I mean, it's hot.
Well, it's not just hot, but it's really humid here in the summer. Like when I say humid, you get a huge dehumidifier, and I swear in less than half a day that thing is full.
Yeah.
And I don't even think it's enough. Like Irene can tell you, I don't even think those are enough because you can have one in every room. Be
Mm-hmm.
constantly dumping it out to empty it and put it back. I don't think it's enough because still, it's still so humid that
Yeah.
mold grows so fast. If you don't clean up right then and there, mold's gonna
Mm.
be there the next morning.
Oh
Like
It's
wow.
bad. It's
I've
so
got.
mold. I have
Yeah.
never seen mold grow so fast from anything
Yeah.
in my life besides
It's
moving here.
bread. You can't leave it out. Either if you do, you have to freeze it or put it in the refrigerator because it's gonna go bad.
Good.
That is the one
Yeah.
thing I don't like about living here is I can't really have I can't have bread for a sandwich because even on the expiration date it's only for a couple days and it's one of those things where I'm like I can't eat a whole loaf in a couple days.
No.
But at the same time, it's like if you don't, Irene will tell you it's not gonna be good anyway. So
No. Yeah. So
Crazy.
yeah, you gotta be careful when it's humid and hot. Food doesn't last very long in this country, right?
no.
And how do you serve raw fish then?
I make sure it's in the fridge and I serve it right before. I
Yeah,
make sure
you
everyone's
can't let
here.
it sit there. You can't put it in
That's
some.
also probably why they catch it right before you eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because mold. I can see something going on there right away.
Yeah. I mean, stuff like that. You have to be very careful. Um. Uh. Like butter will melt in 2 seconds. Anything like that, you have to be careful. You have to keep it all in the fridge, right? The only thing you can leave out is ketchup. That's the only thing you can leave out is ketchup. Other stuff has to go in the fridge, right, Amanda?
Wow.
It's
Oh, fun
it's
fact: Japan does not have ranch.
no,
No ranch, really.
no,
Don't come
no,
here thinking you're gonna find ranch.
How do
You
you do
won't.
your
no.
buffalo wings then?
If you go to like McDonald's and you order chicken nuggets, usually you have a selection of sauce. The only two that you can have is like barbecue sauce or mustard.
Honey mustard, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the only two options. You get barbecue sauce or you get mustard. That's it.
Oh, and you don't find sour cream either, so you can forget about that. So they don't have sour cream, and they don't have cottage cheese either.
Wow. I'm all, just all you gotta do is leave your milk out a little bit. It's so hot there, you can make your own cottage cheese.
That'd
Yeah,
be
yeah. Milk will go sour if you leave it out on the counter.
They are more strict here when it comes to food than the United States. Just one
Yeah.
thing we do appreciate, like when you see videos of people eating or drinking raw eggs, it's probably over here just because farmers if they sell eggs, they require daily to test their chickens for viruses and bacteria.
Hmm.
They even then, hypothetically, they still don't mess around thinking, what if they missed that day or what if it wasn't done correctly or it just wasn't caught yet? They still send the eggs through like a UV process. So
Hmm.
if it did have any like any bacteria or viruses or anything. It kills it.
Mm-hmm.
So even raw eggs, if you eat or drink raw eggs, you're not gonna get salmonella.
Yeah.
It's at least very, very rare
Yeah.
because of that whole process.
Yeah.
And I keep that in mind, so I won't have my eggs raw then.
Well, here you can.
It's safe here.
Yeah. Well, I like my eggs a little cooked, so you know.
'Cause some restaurants will also serve their noodles with a raw egg,
Or
and it's
raw egg on
perfectly
hot
safe.
rice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfectly safe to eat. Which a lot of Americans are just like, "This is weird. I don't want to eat it." I'm like, no, it's safe. Trust me.
Yeah.
It's normal here.
Yeah.
It's
You get
normal.
the hard boiled eggs they give us over here with that. We want hard boiled eggs. You know, with the like the ramen type noodles and all that stuff, and they they like a hard boiled egg cut in half.
Mhm.
Yes, and I mean, yeah, well, I wouldn't eat raw eggs anyway. So
Oh, it's good here. It's
Yeah, they
different.
are good here. I will say
yeah.
that.
Yeah. And especially if I get mine from a particular farm where they have a picture of the lady who has these free range chickens, and yeah, they're really good. The shell is different. It's yeah, it tastes different too. Even the milk is different here in isn't it, Amanda? It's not watery.
Yeah, it's definitely different here. Whipped cream the same way as I tell Irene all the time. I personally think whipped cream tastes a lot better over here.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Because it's a lot thicker. You don't
yeah,
need stabilizers with it. You don't have to put Dr. Oetker stabilizer in it. You just whip it up with
Tastes
a little
better.
bit of sugar, and it's made whipped cream, right?
that's it. Really, pretty much.
Yeah. And if you whip it a little bit more, you get butter.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna be a little longer to do.
Yeah. Don't worry, I got a stand mixer. I can do it. Yeah. Um, it's a little bit different in this country. Yogurt is a little bit different too. It's a little bit thicker. It's richer. Yeah, it tastes better. It tastes better. Just a lot. Milk products are better here. Let's put it that way, right, Amanda?
Yeah.
It's a little bit thicker. Milk is a little bit thicker too in Japan. It's not watery like it is.
Yeah. How do you eat with cereal then?
We eat regular cereal, but our milk is it's richer.
Okay.
Yeah. So you
The
get you
groceries, yeah, the grocery stores are also required to label anything that usually if you go somewhere, I don't can you buy I don't know if you can buy it. I haven't seen you can buy it in a gallon here. Usually it's like in the little white thing, is that right?
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. But they're also required to like the top will look different. When pure milk they'll have like a little indent on it. If they add like any water for like 2% or whatever, it's pure flat.
Yeah, it's skim milk and they have 3.6, 3.7, 3.8%. So the higher the number goes, the richer it is.
Mm,
And the richer it is, the sweeter it is.
mm,
It's like drinking old fashioned milk. You know, from the 60s when you had old fashioned milk, it was thicker.
mm.
That's how our milk is. And our ice cream is different, right? It's richer. It's better tasting actually, to tell you the truth. It's really good. It's really good here. And if you get hot dogs, it's just your brats. Like it's a
That's yeah.
German recipe of hot dogs. Yeah. They have German brats. They have other kind of um um they have, I forgot the name of it. They got all different kinds um of wieners and stuff like that. So they had,
Mm-hmm.
when long time ago, they had, when the ship came in, they taught them how to make certain stuff with the wieners. So it's European wieners.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's really good. Yeah. Food is food is a little bit different here, right?
Yeah, I'm
Um,
gonna have to come out there to taste all this food.
yeah, you'll have fun. We'll take you everywhere.
You feed me, and we're going investigations.
Yep, yeah, most definitely. We'll have a lot of fun. You won't have to worry about anything because um, we'll protect you.
Yeah, they're gonna see me. They're gonna push me over that the waterfalls.
Nah,
They're gonna say, "Hey, the American over here, get him, kick him in."
Can you
nah.
walk? Can you walk up the waterfall anymore, Irene?
They
Or is it just
used to
that bridge?
have they used to have nets around the edges because it was the end thing to do. They don't have those nets anymore. It was really bad. When I went there a little while ago, it was so bad that they had to have nets all the way around. They don't have that anymore. So yeah, you can walk. They have different staircases where you can walk at different levels and see the waterfall at different levels. You can do that now. You can look over the edge. You can take a picture over the edge if you want to with your cell phone or with the camera. Um,
No, you can. I don't know about us.
well, yeah, I can.
Well, I'm going to say for us, or as Anthony said, how do we know we're not going to fall?
Oh, you'll be okay.
It's like
You'll be okay. Don't worry. Uh,
they hit me in the back with a samurai sword and tossed me over the falls.
Nah, they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that. As long as I'm there with you, they're not gonna do that. Don't worry about that. You'll be okay. I mean, but we had when my friend was there, I had a spirit tell me to blank off, and I said, "Whoa!" I said, "Where did that come from?" Right? It was an old man. He told my friend to blank off, and I said, "Whoa!" He goes, "Where'd that come from?" Oh, that came from over the waterfall. He goes, "You're kidding?" I go, "Nope. I just
I
heard that."
can't. I can't imagine them wanting Americans there to begin with.
Yeah.
Like especially with the history of what happened, I can't imagine them being thrilled with the Americans visiting.
We did kind of like uh kind of like an interview, kind of like thing, a video. I don't know when it's gonna be uploaded. I gotta ask my friend, but yeah, we did a video and did a conversation thing about what happened in the history and stuff like that, and showed how much what my pictures came out. It was really weird because um my friend asked questions, and when I heard it and when they answered in my ears, I could talk. I gave the answers, and I heard one old man said, "Yeah, you blank off." I said, "What?" I said, "Whoa, that wasn't nice." I said, like, yeah, we're no longer at war anymore, and everyone's at peace now. Okay, we're America's our friends now. Okay, they're our allies now. We don't do that anymore. And they said, "Well, I still think you should blank off." I go, "Okay, yeah." And I said that was freaky. I said, I think we did that on the investigation. It was kind of like interesting, but we talked about the history. We talked about what happened, and why these people died, and funny thing, my grandfather, when he when the war ended, my grandfather told my grandmother to take the Luger and to kill all the kids and to commit suicide. My grandfather said, "I'll do the same thing." My grandmother said, she was a really wise woman. She said, "You got to be out of your mind. I'm not going to kill my kids, and I'm not going to kill myself either. So you can go and stick that comment up your behind, right?" Yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people did that. I think a lot of people wanted to do that, but luckily my grandmother didn't. She didn't believe in doing that, and she said, "No, I'm not going to do that." And yeah, the think that was the in thing to do at that time after the war. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I think she was. I think they weren't the only ones. I think a lot of people said that too to their wives, and a lot of people went through with it too, and they did it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you can't imagine telling your family to do that because you lost the war. I mean, stuff happens, right?
Hmm.
I'm gonna say this right out. Stuff happens, and you can't blame anybody, and you can't say no, you're wrong, or blah blah blah, because stuff happens. Okay, and everything happens, and nothing's right, nothing's wrong. And
Hmm.
everybody's a human being, and everybody has whatever. They all have their morals. They all have their ideas. They all have their what they feel. It's just, yeah, everyone's the same underneath. And I've learned that you don't judge, and I've learned that you don't, but I just, I can't imagine this day and age thinking that, but
Yeah.
they did. It's just part of so-called history, right?
Hmm. So, yeah, but they're not part of the future. That they ended their time there.
Yeah,
I don't think their view is ever going to change, though.
no,
Hmm.
I mean,
no,
they died protecting that whole belief.
yeah,
Hmm.
So
Yeah. So they,
uh,
they they died doing that, and they died their beliefs.
yeah,
Now their beliefs still going to be their beliefs. They're not going to change them after
yeah,
death.
yeah. It's just, it's a sad time because my friend said at the waterfall, we don't do that. That was never going to happen. And Japan is a free sovereign country.
Hmm.
And yeah, we're no longer enemies. He told the waterfall that. And what happened was, I think they all listened because they all, I was hearing all kinds of voices coming out of that afterwards when he said that. And it was, and that why did you do that, like you didn't have to do that, and no one was going to rule Japan like that after the war, and it wasn't going to happen like that. And I think a lot of those spirits who did that came out afterwards. When we did that, I took a whole bunch of pictures, and they came out and everything came out all white. So yeah, it
Wow.
w- it was timing of everything, right? Yeah, it was different. All right. So that's why I want to take you there too.
see, I'd love to talk to someone who's investigated in Salem, especially talk to people who did the
Yeah.
whole witch trial. Just because someone made a good point is obviously we go to Salem now, witches are very celebrated, basically,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like,
Yeah.
and everyone said, I wonder how the people who were who were on trial for it feel about that,
Yeah.
knowing
Yeah.
Who
that they were
died?
wrongly accused and died, and all
Yeah.
of a sudden you see people freely walk around
Hmm.
dressed like
I
witches.
wouldn't even
I,
say they
I
were
know. I
die.
know
I
people who
would
give
say they
tours
were
there and
killed.
everything. So yeah.
I think they were killed for just because they were different, right?
I think they were killed because people wanted their land.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what some of them was, because one of them knew that someone knew that that was going to happen, so he made sure he went out and made an ironclad will. So if and when that happened, because he
Mm-hmm.
knew people who were on that committee wanted his land and trying to get it, so he
Mm-hmm.
made it so okay, if I die,
Yeah.
this they cannot take it, and they still tried to fight to take it, but
Mm-hmm.
luckily they were not able to take it. But yeah, that's basically what also happened at the end, is they really wanted that land.
Yeah, that's what I
It's
think.
land, and it's also jealousy from some of the women with the men if they
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to be with them. Because
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think there was at least one who was it was like someone accused them, and it was, yeah, I have a wife, I'm not interested, kind of thing. So that he was accused.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Different things. They want to get rid of somebody that they accuse them as a witch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
45 years from Sharon. Lady Majestic, light worker. I wonder, um, lady, were you at the MassCon? I was supposed to do that this year, and I didn't go because of family things. I had a
Mm,
table. Yeah, because MassCon is last year was in Plymouth. I forgot where it was this year.
mm,
They're not, Massachusetts Paracon,
mm.
MassCon. Yeah, there was a lot of people there this year. And I missed it. I'm like kicking myself, like So it's supposed to have a table there and everything, but
Mm.
yeah.
That's one thing. It would be funny if we had a paragon here, right?
No, it'd just be
Just
me and Irene.
yeah.
You'd be
Because
sitting.
someone has reached out, like, how come you don't put on? Why don't you put on a Paracon? They're in they're in Japan. I'm like, no one would show up. I'd basically it would just be me and Irene. I'm like, I'm not renting a space for me and Irene to chill. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll just go
Mhm.
to her house. We'll chill. I don't need to rent the whole entire freaking convention center for her and I
Mhm.
to just chill, and that's it. That's all it would be.
Yeah. We'll just probably having lunch all the time because we wouldn't be
Yeah,
doing it.
yeah, they
But
just
we
had
could.
it. Yeah, like
But you know, it would be interesting if we sold tickets and have people from America to come because there wouldn't be anybody else.
hmm yeah. She just said yeah. They just had the mask on like it was like a week or two ago, something like that.
Mm,
'Cause I'm friends with I know the guy throwing it, Sam Baltrusis, and I know Patty Negri and all those people, Ron
mm,
Lourdes. Um, yeah, the mask con. I was supposed. I was upset I didn't go this year. So.
mm,
Massachusetts. I mean, Salem. I never been to. I've been talking about going there forever. I've been
mm,
invited there by friends and you know the Jenny Wade house. I just
mm.
want to get out there and Salem and just in general for the witch trial era. Stuff there, but you
That'd be
know,
interesting to go. I'd want to go there
you know,
just to feel what I can feel.
hmm
The energy. I think I'd want to see that. There's a
yeah.
lot of places that I want to go to just to feel the energy. I
That's
wouldn't have
on
to
the
do
bucket list
anything.
too.
Yeah, I wouldn't have to do anything. I just want to feel the energy, I think.
hmm
That's one reason why I want to go to Gettysburg, just to feel the energy.
No,
Gettysburg.
you'd probably feel sick from it, Irene.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I'd
There's
probably be
If
remember
cooking my
the
cookies.
if the
53,000 died there in three
if the
days, and
museum
then people died
is
there afterwards from dysentery and everything else. So more than 53,000 there, and then afterwards, when everybody getting sick from dysentery and because their water was contaminated, all their animals were killed, there was no food. So much more died there than this, what
then they,
died in the war.
then it was reported, right?
Hmm Yeah,
More died than was reported.
yeah.
What do you feel about? I'm going to ask you a really weird question. Okay, you can answer it the way any way you want to. What do you feel about history books that had history on a certain place? Okay, to me, I think history books have to be rewritten. Uh, because I think it was so called or said it was, but really, when you talk to spirit, it was totally different. What happened?
hmm
Um, I think the best way to find out what happened would be talk to a spirit who lived through the era, who could tell you what happened. I think a lot of times that they made a mistake right there so
I
easily.
think it's depending who wrote the book on
Yeah,
the history. It's
yeah,
depending what side wrote the book, who wrote
yeah,
the book.
yeah,
And everybody who ever wrote the book is going to be the glamorous, and
yeah,
they're going to be, they're going to different take on thing.
yeah,
So it doesn't. I mean, you can read all these history books and everything.
yeah,
It's depending who wrote it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? If you got
Because
some rich white guy's going to write it his way, and
yeah,
then if you have some poor farmer
hmm
somewhere along the line wrote it, he's going to write it his way, and then they're going to go with the guy that's rich.
yeah. because
It's all about money. It doesn't matter where. It's all about
yeah,
money. That's bottom line
because
of anything, even with history. It's about the money.
the hotels, there's a battleship, there's a lot of things that happened.
Hmm.
I don't think it gave the spirits enough recognition. I think there's a lot of lying that went on. I think there's a lot of BS going on. I think there's a lot of cover up stories that went on.
Hmm. A lot of cover up. Yeah.
And I think the truth has to be told. And I think that's why there's a lot of spirits in those places who haven't rested, because they want to tell you what really happened. And because of what something was written on something about the hotel, or something like that,
Hmm.
may not be the truth, right? And
Hmm.
I just feel really sad about it. And there's a lot of things that happened back when, where you figured that that happened there, was supposed to be that there, but it really didn't. It was a brothel, and a lot of women who were killed, who were murdered. Um, they had children, and a lot of children who died too. That's where
Hmm.
their spirits linger around in those old hotels. I think,
Well, they killed the kids that were born because
yeah,
they just didn't want them around. You know.
yeah. A lot of them were drowned in the bathtub there. A lot of them were, oh, there were horrific things that happened to them. And they were thrown down the staircase. They were, like, unspeakable stuff happened. That's why it's like that right now. And that's why their stories have to be told. Even though it may ruffle a lot of feathers, but
Hmm.
I think it has to be told. I think it has to be said. And like, there's a battleship in Texas.
Am I the only one left? I guess I'm the only one left. Hello. Everybody got knocked off. Okay. I got no control to end this. Yeah,
Her
she
body
comes
was her
back.
body was thrown over in the ocean, and
You
they
guys were
killed her.
gone,
Well, I
Yeah,
guess I have a way
and I was
better
probably here
story
by
for you.
myself.
yeah. And I got, yeah. It was really weird. Stuff happens when I talk about subjects. It's not liked. And um, well, I did an investigation, and the way she died was horrific. The dentist did it, and when we talk to historians on the ship, they don't want to know. They think that I lied about it, but I don't. I didn't. I talked to this Sarah, who is the name of this lady who what happened to her, and yeah, I just, like, nope, we don't want to talk about it. No. They asked me what happened to her. I said, I'll tell you what happened. This is what happened to her. They said, no, I don't believe that. I said, okay, fine. Like, whatever. But I know, right? It's just a lot of stuff that happened back when.
Hmm.
That's why their spirits are still lingering, and that's why they can't find peace. And there's one way to do is talk about it and hope they find peace that way. When we talk about it, when we tell the story, the truth about the story, and hoping that they will find peace, and hoping that they can cross over once you tell the story about them. I think that's really important too, about that also. I don't I don't know how people investigate. I investigate by telling the what happened,
Hmm.
and I try to find, if they want to cross over, I allow that to happen. I help them. But I mean, if they still want to say that, then that's fine too, But there's a lot of stuff that happened back in these old hotels and when they were brothels and stuff like that. That's why they're still there and they can't leave. And I
Yeah.
think, and when they have pictures on the main floor of what happened. They have pictures of the people who lived there, who worked in the hotel, and who lived there, and how it's baloney. Right? It's just a lot of baloney and it's a lot of garbage. So,
Hmm.
you know, I don't know. I think it has to be told properly
Mm.
to give them a voice. I think we're the only ones who can do it, right?
Yeah. You're the only two in that country that could do it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know that's that's what we're talking. I'm talking to the whole team,
Yeah.
the whole country's paranormal team. It's right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically we also say we're the paranormal team. The podcast the paranormal team.
Yeah.
So
We
Amanda,
need someone to call us.
it's 11 o'clock.
Okay. We're going to end this for now. Thank you so much, Anthony, for joining us. We'll get back with you for part two. Maybe
Yeah.
one day, part three, part four, part 20.
part five, hey, it would go. We could
And
continue
bring
going.
your team next time when they're not busy. It'll be
Yeah,
great.
Jenny was in the audience, but she came in late. And
Hmm.
Kim, she works. She's a veterinarian. She works with horses, and
Okay.
she has to work on certain nights because it's her. It's her. She works at the horse tracks.
Mm.
So she takes care of the horses at those things. So, but it was great talking to you guys.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us. We had a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was great.
it was good. I learned a lot of things about your country from you two.
That's good. That's our goal for people to at least learn one thing from the
Yeah.
podcast, at
Yeah.
least.
And
And
I'll have you on my podcast too, and you could talk about the
yeah.
locations, especially the waterfall where they could toss me over, and me and Amanda, we'd be tossed over if we go up there.
I was like, I'm not. I told Irene, I was like, if I miss there, I'm not climbing that. I'm not climbing up.
They say, hey, look at
There's
that
nothing.
guy.
I'm
He
like, there is
doesn't,
nothing you can do to make me climb up there.
they don't look it. They don't look it.
You'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Good
Irene,
night,
climb up,
Nancy.
man. Nah, I'm good.
Yeah,
Don't worry. I'll toss you a line.
yeah, yeah. I mean, everybody in the audience, thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
tell
I'm
Irene,
Thank you
happy.
very much for
unfortunately, if
watching
that
us.
did happen, she'd still be doing Spooky Japan, but she'd be like, Amanda's right next to me. Trust me. Trust me. What, Amanda? She said, welcome, everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, all right, Irene lost it.
I
All
know.
right, everyone else, thank you so much for joining us. See you next time. Bye for now.
Good. Thank you. Good night.